I wonder, GSA. Look at that. It does have a GSA. It does. It did at one time have a GSA. I wonder if, hang on. I'm doing a separate Google search. Seattle Public School GSA. Oh, bing, 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 bing. Check this out. Okay. I just did a Google search for Seattle Public Schools GSA. GSA used to stand for Gay Straight Alliance. It no longer stands for Gay Straight Alliance. Now it stands for Gender and Sexuality Alliances because what they're doing is they're making GSAs all about transing the kids. Look what came up first. SeattleSchools.org, LGBTQ programs, curriculum, and support. Very first search result. GSA groups. Gender and Sexuality Alliance, aka Gay Straight Alliance, at schools at almost all high schools and many middle schools. K through 5 gender book kits. Joycelina, can we get the K through 5 gender book kit? What is in? In response to student need, the district introduced classroom materials that focus on age-appropriate concepts of gender and gender identity. The K through 5 gender book kit are available to Seattle teachers, Seattle K through 5 teachers. What is in this gender book kit? Hang on, I'm taking a screenshot of this. Hang on. I want to know what's in this gender book kit. The books and lessons were developed by a district-led task force, community members, parents, and educators in response to the state's adoption of new health education standards. These standards introduce at the elementary school level concepts such as gender, gender roles, gender expression, and gender identity. Sin, you have videos? Oh my goodness. Hang on. Sin! Holy shit. Sin to the rescue. Look at this. Sin, how did you find this? Look at this. This is a series of videos the Seattle Public Schools students in kindergarten through 5th grade. The videos showcase books and lessons from the Gender Book Kit, which was developed in 2017. These age-appropriate lessons align with the Washington State health education standards related to self-identity. You can find more information about the K through 5 Gender Book Kit. Link to come. Each video identifies the intended. Should we watch some of the videos? Should we watch some of the videos for the book kit, the gender book kit? Oh, Sin! Holy shit! All right, let me get this set up. We're gonna watch some videos, and we had to Google this. This was not okay. So the one of the points I want to make, I think I set this up correctly. Hang on, I'm gonna make sure I set it up correctly. So Sin found this through a Google search, which is different than searching the website. Okay? So sometimes what websites can do is they can eliminate certain search results from their internal indexing. So an internal search on the school's website is not always going to produce everything that you might need, but you can Google that and you can literally Google it and other things might come up as we did in this case. And this is all on their website. So this is under Seattle Public Schools, Department's Health Education, LGBTQ programs and curriculum support, and then we've got the gender book kit. Let's start off with kindergarten. Oh god, there's a lesson plan, a self-portrait. Okay. Kindergarten.
Hi there, everyone. My name is Brennan Ham, and I'm the health education specialist and trainer for Seattle Public Schools.
No!
Pronouns, but anything said with respect is great. So they, she, and he all work for me. I'm very excited to be here with you today because we are going to read a fabulous book called Introducing Teddy. The full title is Introducing Teddy, a gentle story about gender and friendship. This is written by Jessica Walton and illustrated by Dougal McPherson. Now take a look at this picture. We see here on the cover of this book a really sad-looking teddy. This teddy has a little sad face and has a bow tie.
This is for
We see a
kindergartners.
mirror here, and then we see a teddy with a bow and a really big happy face. So what do you think this story might be about? I'm very excited to share it with you. It's a very special story. Now, before we begin, I would like to cover some important words that'll really, really help us understand this story better. Now, the first word is acceptance. Take a moment and think, when have you heard the word acceptance before? The second word is compassion. When have you heard the word compassion before? Take a moment and think, what does compassion mean? And now that third word is gender. Take a moment and think, what does gender mean? Where have you heard it before or seen it?
This is so
The fourth
creepy.
word
Is anyone else creeped
gender
out?
role. When have you heard or considered what gender role might mean? Have you seen it? And the fifth and final word that we're going to talk about today is the word unique. What does unique mean? Again, take a moment to consider those words. And what I'm going to do is share with you our Seattle Public Schools definition for kindergarten for each of these words.
For
The first word,
Holy shit.
acceptance. Acceptance means being supportive, kind or friendly to others, accepting other people and their differences, and being okay with something. The second word, compassion, means being a good friend to someone when that person needs it.
Okay, I'm just going to pause this real quick. Obviously, we are going to be watching all of these videos tonight, so everyone just needs to hunker down and go get a drink and a snack. If you want to, I'm busting out the knitting. But it's like, okay, these words in and of themselves are not bad. There's nothing wrong with teaching children about compassion and acceptance. Fine. But this guy is creepy. This is creepy. He's talking like he's flirting. I'm sorry. I've spent a lot of time around gay men. I'm a magnet for gay men. They flock to me like I don't know what. It's the lesbian haircut. This is creepy. This is for kindergartners. He is basically flirting, okay? Like, and why does he, like, I just don't understand. So it's not like even the words themselves. It's like the whole context of what this thing is. All right.
Awareness and kindness for other people's feelings, emotions, and experiences. That third word, gender, means a person's feeling about being either a boy or a girl.
That's not what
neither,
gender means.
Both, or somewhere in between.
That's not what gender means at all. They just defined, hang on.
Role means
they just define gender as a feeling you have. That's not what gender means. Oh, I'm sure I'm really going to like this definition too.
Cultural ways about how men and women are supposed to act.
Oh my God.
So we can think of expectations that we have for people. So for example, baking is an activity that we usually associate with girls. And weightlifting is an activity that we usually associate with boys. But anyone can do any of those things if it makes them feel like themselves. Now that final word is unique. Unique means something or someone very special. Everyone is unique because everyone is uniquely them.
Everyone wants to be unique.
Now we're going to read this fabulous book, and I want to think about those words. Again, acceptance, compassion, gender role.
I promise you I like D just as much as this guy does. Not a lesbian.
Begin. Introducing
Yeah,
Teddy
sure.
by Jessica Walton, illustrated by Dougal McPherson. Begin. Errol and Thomas the Teddy play together every day. They ride their bike in the backyard. They plant vegetables in the garden. They have sandwiches for lunch in the tree. Here they are in their tree, eating delicious sandwiches, no doubt.
He's wearing a rainbow ring.
They have tea parties inside. It's raining.
I'm pretty sure he has shimmer nail polish on too in that one finger. I'm not judging. I like shimmer nail polish, but...
One day, Errol woke to find the sun shining through his bedroom window. Hooray, he shouted. Come on, Thomas, let's go to the park and play. Thomas the teddy didn't feel it. We see Thomas here looking very sad. We'll find out why. You seem sad today, Thomas, said Errol. Don't worry, the park will cheer you up. Thomas the teddy wasn't so sure. We see here Thomas is skeptical. But we see Errol seems to be trying very hard to be a really good friend, really excited to cheer on this teddy bear. Oh no, even the swing isn't working. What's wrong, Thomas? Talk to me. If I tell you, said Thomas, you might not want to be my friend anymore.
Oh no.
Ugh. I wonder what this teddy is going to share.
Good information, Joycelina.
I will always be your friend, Thomas. Thomas the teddy took a deep breath. I need to be myself, Errol. In my heart, I've always known that I'm a girl teddy, not a boy teddy.
What the fuck?
I wish my name was Tilly, not Thomas.
Yeah, stunning and brave.
How do you
stunning
think
and
Errol
brave.
will respond?
Oh my god.
Let's find out. Is that why you've been so sad?
He's
Errol
not a girl
asked?
or a boy, it's a bear.
I don't care if you're a girl teddy or a boy teddy. What matters to me is that you are my friend. You are the best friend a bear could have, said Tilly. Ugh. So here we see acceptance, accepting somebody for their differences. We see compassion, being a good friend. We also see somebody demonstrating their gender, right? So how they identify themselves, how they know in their heart and their mind to be a boy, a girl, neither, both, or something else altogether. So here we see Tilly the teddy tell us that she's a girl teddy. Again, you're the best friend a bear could have, said Tilly.
This is so creepy.
Now that you're feeling better, said Errol, let's call our friend Ava. Hi, Ava. Teddy and I are at the park. Do you want to come and play? Sure, Errol. Let me just finish building my robot. Here's Ava, and here's Ava's robot. And here we have Tilly and Errol. Do you like robots? I think they're awesome. But personally, I'm more of a teddy bear person myself. Hi, Errol. Hi, Thomas. Ava called out
I got
as
it,
she
Phil.
sped
Thank you.
toward them. Hi, Ava, said Errol. Teddy has a new name. Let me introduce you to Tilly. What a great name, said Ava. Let's go and play, Tilly. So we see here that Errol was being a really, really good friend, showing that compassion, being thoughtful, and also supporting Tilly by sharing Tilly's new name with Ava, presumably with Tilly's permission. Now, we also see Tilly demonstrating compassion and acceptance as well. She didn't question that. She didn't try to make Tilly feel bad or for being different. She was just like, great. What a great name, Tilly. That's a good friend. Now, the only thing that we want to note here is that it looks like Ava forgot her helmet. Please remember, if you're outside on a scooter or a bicycle, it's important to wear your helmet. Wait, I'm just going to move my bow tie, said Tilly the teddy. I've always wanted a bow instead.
It's an outfit. It's an
Here,
outfit. They're
we have
teaching them it's an
Ava, who has
outfit.
taken her bow and just tossed it away. She didn't want it anymore. And then here we have Tilly, who took her bow tie and turned it into a bow for her hair. Over here, let's continue to read. Good for you, Tilly. Wear whatever makes you happy, said Ava. I think I'll get rid of my bow. I like my hair free. This is also an interesting example of gender roles. So a lot of times people expect girls to want to wear bows. But as we see here, Ava doesn't want to do that. But we also see Tilly, who's a girl teddy, who absolutely does want to.
Maybe
There's tremendous
the
variation.
teddy could have
We
worn
can
it as a
all
boy
kind of do
teddy and been
whatever
just
feels good to
fine.
us, whatever makes us feel good. Let's continue reading. Errol, Ava, and Tilly played all morning until it was time to go home. See you at our next tea party, Errol said as Ava stepped onto her scooter. Yes, see you there. I'm bringing a friend, Ava yelled as she sped away. I'm also going to assume that she went to go get her helmet. It's very important. Here we see them playing.
He's a health
Errol
education
and Tilly the
specialist.
Teddy play together every day.
Health education
They
specialist.
ride their bike in
Seattle
the
Public
backyard.
Schools.
They plant vegetables in the garden. They have sandwiches for lunch in the treehouse. And they have tea parties inside. So here we have Ava with her robot, Tilly and Errol, all together playing. How wonderful. And that's it. Here we go. Thank you so much for reading this fabulous book. Again, this is Introducing Teddy, and this was written by Jessica Walton and illustrated by Dougal McPherson. I hope you loved this book. Before we end today, I'd love for you to consider a really fun lesson. This lesson that we have for you is a chance for you to introduce yourself with an illustration of your own. So this is a chance for you to make a self-portrait. So that means drawing a picture of yourself.
We're going to look at the lesson plan in a
as we
second.
saw in the book, when Tilly the Teddy looked in the mirror, she was able to see her full self, how she wanted to be. We saw that bow in her hair. We saw a big smile.
They're
on her
encouraging
face.
kindergarteners to see themselves
this is a
as
chance
trans.
for you to think about what are things that make you uniquely you. So for me, for example, I really love this hat. And if I wore this hat every day, I might draw myself this hat, right? Let's say I really, really love swimming. So maybe I would also draw some goggles in my hand in this self-portrait. That would be an example of me demonstrating who I am, what makes me uniquely me. So I hope you get to do this activity. I would say it's really fun to do with a parent or guardian or older sibling too. A chance to introduce yourself, even to somebody that you already know and love. So thanks so much for joining us, and thank you for being uniquely you.
He went to Harvard for grad school. It doesn't actually surprise me at all. Stephanie says he went to Harvard for grad school. It doesn't actually surprise me at all, Stephanie, if that's true. Oh, you're going to get a good shot of my bookmarks there. All right. Let me see. All right. So, Phil, I think this is the website you sent me as well. They've got all this stuff on there. I totally missed. Okay, so this is something I need to keep in mind about the Seattle Public Schools website. So, this is a weird navigation thing. Oh, shit. Hang on. Didn't even show it to you guys. That's great. Excellent. Didn't show you guys the things that I showed you. So this is something I need to keep in mind for the Seattle Public Schools website is they have a really weird navigation. And so you want to keep it so this is what tripped me up. So I basically when I went to this website, I started scrolling down it like a normal website, right? And that's when we found this book kit thing and I was like, "Where's the book kit? What's the book kit?" But you know where it was? It was linked up here. It was above. But I wouldn't have even thought to look there because that's just not how most websites work. And so I'm pointing this out specifically because this is why it's really important to get attention to detail. Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah. Yeah. We landed in the rabbit hole of holy shit. So now we've got their videos. And so now another thing we know about this too is that the Seattle Public Schools are not doing some of their crazy bullshit under equity or any of that. They're probably doing crazy bullshit under that. We don't know yet because their professional development guidelines are behind a password protected paywall. But they're doing it under health education, which this is not something I've encountered for. It's not something I've encountered before. They're doing the trans stuff under health education. So people need to make sure that if you can't find it, look under health education. You found his LinkedIn. So you know what's funny? He went to Harvard for graduate school. My first job in higher education ever, and I worked in higher education for 10 years. My first job in higher education ever was the Harvard Graduate School of Education. So it's good to see. Yeah, we found their YouTube channel earlier, Bot. We got that. So let's look at some more videos. Now I want to look at, so this one, So they have the introducing Teddy video, but I want to see they have the self-portrait download that you can, that's what he showed at the end of that. But what I want to see is the lesson plan, because I'm going to bet in their lesson plan that they're going to encourage students to see themselves as trans in their self-portrait. Let's just see. So this is basically, he went through this is basically what he did when he was teaching the book. Assignment: complete a self-portrait that depicts 3 things about who they are if they are being themselves. Additional resources: teaching tolerance, diversity lessons, gender spectrum. I bet the gender unicorn is in there. I bet you when they're having students to do, at the end of the book, ask, what do you think it means to be yourself? How are the characters in the book being themselves? Point out that some people might feel like Tilly if they are expected to do something or wear something, and listen to what they're having the teachers do. Point out that if some people might feel like the transgender teddy bear, if they are expected to do something or wear something or act in a way that doesn't feel like themselves. They may feel like they have certain gender roles they are expected to live by. This is for kindergarteners, guys. They're encouraging the kindergarteners to explore their gender identity because the teddy bear decided that the teddy bear didn't want to be a boy teddy bear. He wanted to be a girl teddy bear. Fascinating. Fascinating. Oh, good. I'm especially intrigued by My Princess Boy, A House for Everyone, or My Princess Boy. Okay, let me just set this up to make sure we have sound. Hang on. Let's move into the first grade gender book plan, shall we? We need to watch My Princess Boy. I'm sorry, we'll watch the house one too. What is this My Princess Boy thing? Thank you, Phil. I appreciate it.
Hi there, students. My name is Brennan Ham.
Oh,
I'm a health education specialist and trainer for Seattle
God.
Public Schools. I prefer my name to pronoun, but anything said with respect is great. So they, she, and he all work for me. One of the awesome parts of my job is I get to read fantastic stories with you, and the book that we're going to get to read today.
He is the trans education specialist.
It's called My Princess Boy. This is written by Cheryl Kilo Davis. So before we begin, I'd like for us to consider some different items or different things and activities, and think about how we associate, meaning how we link up or connect those activities with certain genders. So for example, let's think of baking. Now, when I think of baking, what do you think most people think of? Who do we think bakes? Is it boys or is it girls?
Everyone.
I feel like most people might say girls bake. Or if we think about boxing, do we think, people might
Phil,
say
I think you could pull that
boys.
shirt off.
Do you think boys or girls? They probably will say boys. What about soccer? Do girls play soccer or do boys play soccer?
Both.
What do you think? I feel like most people might say boys play soccer. What about video games?
Sounds to me like he's reinforcing gender roles right there.
Play video games? What about dancing? Do people think that girls dance or that boys dance? People might say that girls dance.
Why is he reinforcing gender roles?
I want us to think about these things because there are a lot of times
he's wearing sparkle nail polish. He really is.
Put on people based off of how they might identify as a boy, as a girl, as neither, as both, or somewhere in between. And those activities.
I have a problem with sparkle nail polish, but
same with outfits. Think of a time, maybe to a parent, a guardian, or older sibling, and think of a time when you had to do an activity that didn't really feel good to you, or had to wear an outfit that didn't really feel like your favorite. So we are going to hear a fabulous story about.
Wait, for real? Clint is having Alex Jones? That actually makes sense. Good for Clint, man. Clint is a good guy. Shout out to Clint from the Liberty Lockdown podcast. Clint is a good dude. And congratulations to Clint for getting Alex Jones on his show. That's great. Clint is doing a great job.
young person who likes to wear dresses, and these dresses make this person feel really good. So what it's like to do things that make you feel good. Now, before we begin with that, I would like to cover 3 important words. Those words are words that we're going to use throughout this book to just make better sense of what we're learning. The first word is acceptance. The second is compassion.
Didn't we just learn these words?
The third word is unique.
We just learned these words.
So again, we have acceptance, we have compassion, and we have unique. Think about what those words might mean. I'm going to share with you the Seattle Public Schools definitions of each of these words. So we have acceptance, which means being supportive, kind, or friendly to others, accepting other people and their differences.
I don't have any problem with that.
Compassion means being a good friend to someone when that person needs it. Awareness and kindness for other people's feelings.
Don't have any problem with that.
Experiences. Again, compassion means being a good friend to someone when they need it. And that final word, unique, means something or someone very special.
Everyone can't be unique.
We recognize that all of our students are unique because all of you are special. Now, we're also going to hear this fabulous book that tells a story about someone who is unique and special. And we'll see how the people in this person's life show compassion and show acceptance. And also what happens and how this person feels when people don't show those things. Let's learn together.
Yes, let's do so.
Again, My Princess Boy by Cheryl Kilo Davis.
Age appropriate for first graders, according to the Seattle Public Schools.
We'll begin together now. My Princess Boy. My Princess Boy is 4 years old. He likes pretty things. Pink is his favorite color. He plays dress up in girly dresses. He dances like a beautiful ballerina. My Princess Boy has a cool brother. His brother plays baseball and soccer. And his brother dances with my Princess Boy. My Princess Boy loves his brother. This is an example of compassion, acceptance. We see an older brother who's showing compassion and acceptance for his younger brother, and what his younger brother likes to dress, how his younger brother likes to dress, and what his younger brother likes to do, which is dance and dress in really awesome dresses. Let's learn more. My Princess Boy loves his dad. His dad tells my Princess Boy how pretty he looks in a dress. His dad holds his hand and tells him to twirl. My Princess Boy smiles and hugs. Here we see another example of acceptance, so accepting someone for who they are, and compassion, being a true friend. In this case, this person is being a really amazing dad. And this person is also the other person is being a really amazing child, being their full, authentic selves and loving each other. Important. My Princess Boy has playdates with boys and girls. He likes to climb trees in his Princess Boy tiara crown. When he plays dress up, he likes to change clothes a lot. He wears a green ballet leotard and dances with his friends. Here we have them dancing and playing, just having a good time. I love my Princess Boy. When we go shopping, he is the happiest when looking at girls' clothes. But when he says he wants to buy a pink bag or a sparkly dress, people stare at him. Ugh. When he buys girl things, they laugh at him. And then they laugh at me. It hurts us both. Now let's take a moment. Why do you think this might hurt somebody's feelings to be laughed at? It certainly doesn't feel very good when you are trying to do things that make you feel really great, or buy things that make you feel really special and seen, and have other people laugh at you or put you down, or put down your family members. That doesn't feel very good to anybody.
I'm sorry. Hang on. Hang on.
Acceptance when people aren't.
The reality is that in life, people are going to make fun of you. I am made fun of on the internet every fucking day. And you know what? It's all right, because those people are losers who have nothing better to do with their lives. What we should be teaching kids, and the earlier we can start teaching them this, the better, is that It doesn't matter what other people think. This is what I learned growing up. It doesn't matter what other people think. This is what was taught when I was in school. I don't know if anyone else had this experience. It doesn't matter what other people think. It doesn't matter if other people laugh at you. It doesn't matter if other people call you names. It doesn't matter what they think. Do what makes you happy. Do it regardless of what they say or what they do. And let every single person who laughs at you or make fun of you be that thing that drives you forward to be more determined to do what you want to do. They're not teaching kids resiliency anymore. They are teaching kids that your feelings are directly dependent on another person, which is the stupidest thing in the world. It's not even true, by the way. Psychologically, it is not true. Our feelings are dependent upon the emotions that we choose to have. They're not based on what happens to us. This is part of the problem, is that people have been taught that the feelings you have, whether you feel happy or sad or angry or overjoyed or fulfilled or oppressed or whatever it is, they've been taught that your feelings are entirely dependent on other people, and that is not true. You can wake up every day and choose to be happy, and you can say, no matter what happens today, I'm going to have a great day. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to focus on the things I want to focus on. If other people have things to say about it, then whatever. It is not what other people say is none of my business, but they are not going to disrupt my good day. Our emotions dictate our experiences. Our experience does not dictate our emotions. This has been proven in the positive psychology world time and time and time and time and time again. What they are doing is trying to reverse this to teach children when they are vulnerable and impressionable that your experience in life is entirely dependent on other people and not dependent on what you choose to say and what you choose to do. Stop looking for validation from other people. You are never going to get it. And this type of shit is way more harmful in the long term than someone laughing at you because they don't like your clothes.
Compassion. Let's learn some more. Once my prince boy wore a dress at his birthday party. He welcomed his friends to his home and he said, I am a princess boy. He put on jewelry and he liked how pretty he looked and waved his princess boy wand. Here we have my princess boy enjoying himself very thoroughly, as one should on their birthday. And then my princess boy was a princess for Halloween. He went trick-or-treating with his brother. One woman laughed at him because he was in a princess. My princess boy asked, why did she laugh at me? I told him, some people don't think boys should wear dresses. Now you'll see in this instance right here, we have my princess boy, my princess boy's brother, and this is the person that laughed at my princess boy. But you'll notice that my princess boy's brother shows amazing compassion, amazing acceptance, and does not let go of his little sibling's hand. He holds on and shows his love and support of my princess boy. But a princess boy can wear a dress at his school, and I will not laugh at it. And a princess boy can wear pink, and I will tell him how pretty he looks. A princess boy can play with me in pretty girl clothes, and I will still play with him. Now I have a question for you from this book. If you see a princess boy, will you laugh at him? Thumbs up for yes. Thumbs down for no. If you see a princess boy, will you call him a name? Thumbs up for yes. Thumbs down for no. If you see a princess boy, will you play with him? Thumbs up for yes. Thumbs down for no. And finally, if you see a princess boy, will you like him for who he is? Thumbs up for yes. Thumbs down for no. Continue to read.
Okay, I want to say this. Like,
our princess boy is...
He is wearing gold sparkle nail polish, whatever. I think it's good to teach kids to not be overt dicks to people based on things they can't control. If a kid is like, okay, I actually this might make some people angry. I don't buy into this argument that there are no trans kids. I don't buy into it at all. If trans is about gender dysphoria, that has to do with the development of the brain, and and that development of the brain is going to exist in children. It just is. If it exists in adults, and it's going to exist in children. So I don't buy into this line of there are no trans kids. There are obviously trans kids. There are obviously trans kids. And I can't imagine how hard that must be. That must be like, we're talking about an extremely small percentage of the population, but it's got to be one of the most difficult childhoods to go through. And I think it's a good idea, and not even just trans kids, because there might be boys who are more feminine. God knows. I mean, that, a lot of gay men are, not all gay men, but many of them are. Like, there might be girls who are more masculine. God knows I was one of those. I was a tomboy. I still am a tomboy. And it's like, I like that they are teaching kids that you like, include people, play with people, don't make fun of people. I actually like this. And that might be controversial, but like, just because I think it's ridiculous that they have these types of books and they're doing these types of lessons in school, I think that this is a good lesson. I do. Like, if there's a young boy and he wants to wear a dress and twirl and do a dance, you know what? Don't laugh at him. Don't make fun of him. Play with him. Be his friend. These are good things to teach. I don't really have as much of a problem with this. This book is actually not as offensive as I thought it was going to be. It's not. I mean, it's not over yet, and the bigger picture bothers me a lot more than this one thing. I just want to say that, like, I actually think that these are good lessons to teach, even though this guy is creepy, and the fact that they're reading these books to 6-year-olds is a little creepy to me on video. But I don't think it's bad.
Is happy because we love him for who he is. My princess boy is your princess.
I don't think
So
this was
that
that
concludes
bad.
our reading of My Princess Boy, again written by Cheryl Kilo Davis and illustrated by Suzanne de Simone. So I would like for you to talk with a parent, guardian, or older sibling about the story and ways that you saw acceptance, compassion, and uniqueness show up in this beautiful story. And I would also like you to think about what we talked about earlier, which were those activities and things that we associate with as boy things or girl things.
Yeah, Bot's making a good point. Don't be his friend just because he likes dresses. That's what they want. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Be his friend because you want to be his friend.
So, for example, we talked about soccer, we talked about boxing, baking, video games, dancing. And I want us to think about how maybe those things are actually for everybody. There are no boys' toys, games, or clothes, just as there are no girls' clothes, toys, or games. People can simply like what they like. Now, I also want to thank everybody for your attention and for getting to read this fabulous book. I hope it was just as special for you as it was for me. Thank you all, and thank you for being uniquely you.
All right. I give the book wasn't bad. I give the book like a 7 out of 10, maybe. I don't think the book was bad. I'm sorry. I don't think it was bad. I think the guy reading it was creepy. There's something creepy. There is. All right. Why do I keep going back? Let's watch the other one. A House for Everyone. Yes, you can wear a dress and still be a boy, which I agree with. Oh my gosh, this guy's outfits.
But anything said with respect is great. So they, she, and he all work. I'm very excited because we're going to read to you.
I probably shouldn't be doing commentary on this guy's clothes. I mean, because, like, let's just be honest, like, my clothes aren't that much better. I wear black t-shirts and hats and like all sorts of crazy shit, like shawls and stuff. So like, I'm not like, I probably shouldn't be making fun of this guy's clothes, but I'm sorry. You're wearing like What are those, like, cockroach earrings? It's just a little weird. It's weird. I'm sure he's a fine person that is not at all grooming children on the internet. I'm sure he's a nice person.
I'm going to read to you a fabulous book called A House. This book is written by Joe Hurst, and it's illustrated by Naomi Bardoff. This book is
Phil,
for
I played
first
chicken
graders.
hunting
So if
earlier.
you
I
are
played
older than
chicken
first
hunting as
grade,
the
feel
intro.
free
I
to
was hoping
also
you would
tune
be
in.
here.
If you're younger than first grade, make sure that you have a parent or guardian or older sibling present, so that way you can ask questions if you haven't. But the lesson that's going to be accompanying what we read today is for first graders. All right, now before we begin, it's really important that we understand two different vocabulary or phrases to help us better understand this amazing book. The first word is gender identity. Take a moment and think,
Oh,
what does gender identity
here we
mean?
go.
What does the word identity mean?
First graders, 6 years
Probably
old.
is referring to us, thinking about ourselves, right? So
This
gender
would not be
identity
legal
is
in Florida.
who we know ourselves to be, how we understand. So most people know themselves to be a boy, a girl, or something else. All of that is welcome. And we're going to learn about some characters who have a variety of gender identity. The second word that we're going to learn today is gender expression. Now think about the word expression. Where might you have heard expression?
He's teaching the
Has the word
gender
express
unicorn.
in it. Express. So gender expression is about how people make choices about how they demonstrate their gender. So the clothes that we wear, the way that we talk, the way we cut our hair, those kinds of things. That's gender expression, or how we express. Everybody has. And in this book, there are many different characters with many different varieties of expression. And we're going to learn about some
Oh,
together today.
good. Oh,
So
good.
let's get started. This is the book, A House for Everyone, Joe Hurst, and illustrated by Naomi Bardoff. Together. A House for Everyone. Lunchtime is our favorite part of the day. We build a house for everyone. We collect everything we need from around for all of the characters. I'll get all the sticks we need, says Ivy. It won't take long. She is the fastest runner in our group. She gathers large sticks from all over the playground. Ivy is a girl. She likes her hair cut really short. Her favorite clothes are shorts and a t-shirt, and she never ever chooses to wear a dress. So let's take a moment and think.
So
We
she's a
just met
tomboy.
Ivy. So let's think about what we know of these gender identity and gender expression.
Tomboy.
Let's go back to the page. So Ivy, it says Ivy identifies as a girl. Ivy is a girl. But it also tells us that Ivy likes to express her gender in a different way. So she likes to have her hair cut really short. She also doesn't like to wear dresses. She prefers shorts and t-shirts. So that tells us about Ivy's gender expression and gender. So Ivy's a girl who likes to have her
Do they
hair
even
cut really
teach the
short.
word tomboy
She uses she,
anymore?
her pronouns. Her haircut's really short, and her outfits are generally shorts and t-shirts, but never ever. So really cool. It's great to meet Ivy. Let's meet some more folks together. I'll build the house, says Alex. I'll make sure it holds together and does not fall down. Alex loves to build. They have the biggest Lego collection of all our friends.
Alex is non-binary.
They take the sticks that Ivy has collected and carefully balance them against. Alex does not feel like just a boy or just a girl. They feel very uncomfortable being called he or she. Alex prefers people to use their name Alex or they. Let's take a moment and think about what we just learned about this person.
Alex is 6 years old.
So in terms of gender identity, we talked about gender identity. Some of the options are boy, girl, or something else. A lot of times folks will use the word non-binary. So in this case, we learned about Alex. Alex doesn't feel like a boy or a girl. Alex feels like something else. So in this case, Alex uses the pronoun they. they and them. So instead of saying he does or she does, we would say they do. About Alex. So now we have a sense of Alex's gender identity. What about Alex's expression? Let's take a look. So Alex's gender expression looks really cool. Alex has sort of an open shirt, fun orange dress, and a really cool scarf. Alex also has really...
They're literally equating gender expression with an outfit. They do this over and over and over again. They did this in the Trans Penguin video. They've done this in all the different books that we've only looked at 3 books so far, and it's all about outfits. They are teaching these kids that if you are uncomfortable, which P.S., everyone is uncomfortable basically their entire childhood, all the way up to after puberty. They're teaching kids that if you are uncomfortable, that is a reflection that your gender is just not what you think it is. And changing your gender is just as easy as putting on another outfit. It doesn't, like, they're not teaching them that it's like, if you're going to transition your gender, that requires actual surgery. Surgery that is not pretty. Surgery that is permanent. Surgery that will sterilize you. They're not teaching them that. They're teaching them that it is as simple as an outfit. It's so superficial. It is so incredibly superficial.
Really short hair. So those are some the ways that Alex chooses to express their gender. That's really cool. Let's learn about another character.
Why do clothes have to just be an expression of gender? Why can't clothes just be an expression of things you like?
Sam. When I have finished, it will look amazing. Sam is very artistic and loves putting colors together. He collects flowers and leaves from all the different plants and trees in the playground. He drapes them carefully in the house. When he is finished, it looks beautiful. Sam is a boy. He loves to wear his hair long. His favorite sport is basketball. Sometimes, when he plays basketball, he wears his hair in a ponytail. So students, let's take a moment and think about... So when we're thinking about gender identity, so that's who a person knows. Sam expresses his gender identity as a boy. He understands himself to be a boy, his gender identity. Now, when we think about expression, that's how Sam chooses to express his gender. Let's take a look and see what we notice. So we see here Sam's long hair. We also see that t-shirt, gym shorts, and sneakers. So
well, he's
Sam
playing basketball. What would you have him wear?
His hair long. Basketball. And those are the things that make him feel himself, which is really cool. So we see that Sam has a gender identity of boy, expression, long hair, gym shorts, and sneakers. Very cool. Let's learn some more. We will need something to sit on, Jackson. I'll take care of that. Jackson is very, very strong. He carries the biggest, heaviest rocks from the playground into our house.
He's wearing a dress.
The big, flat rock, comfortable. Jackson is a boy. He loves to wear dresses. At home, he has a huge collection of sparkles.
Oh my
Dresses
God.
are not just for girls. Clothes are for everyone. We can all wear the clothes. Let's take a moment and think about what we just learned about this amazing. So Jackson identifies as a boy. So when we're thinking about gender identity, we know that he's a boy. When we're thinking about gender expression, we learn something new. So Jackson, I want to wear a dress. Dresses make. He feels really great in dresses and sparkly. So when it comes to expression, we learned that even though he is a boy, he can wear whatever.
I'm sure that's going to go over great when Jackson has to go get a job.
Expression and gender identity. Sometimes they go together, and sometimes they don't.
And
all of that.
And listen, like, I'm one of those people where I mostly think the dress codes are bullshit. But I mean, and exactly, men in Scotland wear kilts. I have no issue with that. I don't actually listen, man. I came from the era of like going to like heavy metal concerts and having men wear skirts, and that was one of the things that they wore because that was what was sold at Hot Topic was the one-legged fucking pant that was a skirt. Okay, so I don't actually have a problem with like men wearing dresses or skirts or whatever. I'm just saying that someone is going to have to teach Jackson at some point that at some point Jackson's going to need to get a job. And jobs oftentimes put restrictions on what you can wear and what you cannot wear. And yes, I think that most of those things are stupid and bullshit, but that is the reality of the world, and that is something that they need to learn.
Is okay. Welcome. Let's learn about some. What about a sign for visitors? Asks. I'll make that. Tom loves. He uses small rocks to spell the word welcome. Tom is a boy. When he was born, everyone thought he was a girl. They gave him a girl's name. This made Tom sad. When he grew up, he told everyone he was a boy. Now everyone calls him he and Tom. Makes Tom really happy.
Why are there
So
more
let's take a
gender
moment
nonconforming
and think about
students
what
in
we
this
learned
book than
about
gender
Tom.
conforming
So
students?
Tom, people thought Tom was a girl and gave him the wrong name. Luckily, he told them that he was a boy and that his name is Tom. And now everyone is able to provide respect and love and acceptance for who he is. So when we're thinking about gender identity, we know that Tom is a boy. So he is a boy. And when we think about expression, we can see here, the page, we can see here that Tom likes t-shirts and shorts, and, looks like really fun boots. And that makes him feel great in his gender expression, as well as his. So Tom is a boy who likes to wear t-shirts, shoes. Let's learn about some more.
I mean, yeah, Bot's making a good point. He keeps saying that they're all cool. Like,
All
that's
of
the
us working
goal.
together,
Is to be
the
cool.
house is soon ready. Cool that is.
Oh my god.
Awesome.
Oh my god.
Ivy brings her dinosaur collection into the house. We made a rock.
You know what's more creepy to me than almost anything about these videos is that, like, if there was music in the background, they might be a little less creepy, but I don't know if people can hear this. I can definitely hear it in my headphones. There's background noise that makes it sound like he's in a basement or a boiler room. I'm having total Nightmare on Elm Street vibes. Like it's like there's an air conditioner in the background that the sound is picking up on, and so it's just like this slow. It's like this really soft hum in the background that makes it seem like he's sitting in a boiler room, and I'm having total Nightmare on Elm Street vibes like watching these. And that's part of why I don't like it. It's really creeping me out, room like atmosphere in which he's reading these children's books about being trans because you wear a specific outfit.
Mountain for the dinosaur. Jackson brings his tiny teddies to the house. We each get. Alex brings their Lego collection.
He
We built
stumbled
a
on
Lego
day.
playhouse for the teddies. Tom brings his favorite joke book into the house and tells us some funny jokes. Sam brings his basketball to the house. So we go outside and play basketball for a while. Other friends come and join us. The house starts to get really crowded. Fun. Ivy yells, "To the monkey bars, everyone!" We all love the monkey bars. Even though we are all a little bit different, we are all still the same, all friends.
Notes for grown-ups. There's a whole section for grown-ups in
Thank
this.
you so much for reading A House for Everyone with me. Again, this was written by Joe Hurst and illustrated by me, Barbara.
Wow.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Okay.
Remember, the words that we learned about were gender identity. So gender identity is who we know ourselves to be, most commonly a girl or something else. We also learned about gender expression, and that's how we express. So that's the clothes that we wear, our hair. It's also in how we talk or act. So all of those things are gender identity. Sometimes we see gender expression expressed in a way like we, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we know anything. And what's really cool about this book, each of the characters, who they were. So we learn expression. and all the ways. Thank you
Like,
so much for
why is
reading,
this in a
some of
classroom
this
where it
book,
looks like the
and I hope
classroom
you
is
will have a
dark? It's
wonderful day.
creepy.
Thank you.
Okay. So what I didn't like about that video is it basically was filled with gender non-conforming kids. Like, statistically speaking, gender non-conforming kids are going to be a very small percent of the population, but that book makes it seem like they're everyone, and that's just not true. I do like that they're telling people to be nice to each other. That's fine. I have no issue with that at all. But they're making it seem like changing your gender is just about changing an outfit. Phil says it rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again. And he's doing it in a dark classroom that sounds like he's in a boiler room. All right, guys, as a reminder, these are videos on the Seattle Public Schools website. We found them after about an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours of searching around. And we found them under the health education section. And I want to thank both Sin and Phil for finding this link, because this is their gender book and lesson plan that they are using right now. We've already watched kindergarten. We just watched first grade. In first grade, they're teaching craziness. Oh, they've got a house for everyone again in the second grade. Ooh, Jacob's new dress. Let us watch Jacob's new dress. Second grade, 7 years old. And just for people in the Unwoke Army, I said I might have a meeting in the Unwoke Army after my stream today. The stream is obviously going a little long because we're going down the elementary school gender book rabbit hole. I'm sorry, we're going to have to postpone. I want to see where this takes us. This is what happens when we start investigating public school websites.
Hi, students. My name is Brennan Ham, and I'm the health education
What is
specialist
that
and trainer at
shirt?
Seattle Public Schools. I prefer my name to pronouns, but anything said with respect is great. So they, she, and he all work for me. I'm very excited because one of the awesome parts of my job is that I get to read amazing stories with students. This story that we're going to read today is called Jacob's New Dress. Let's take a look. This is Jacob's New Dress. This book was written by Sarah and Ian Hoffman, and it's illustrated by Chris Case.
Why does he have a child drowning on his shirt?
We see a young person in a really cool purple dress. I know I would love to rock that. Should be cool. So before we begin this story, I'd love to cover 4 really important words. These words will help us better understand the story. The first word is acceptance. Acceptance.
A new word they're introducing.
The second word is ally.
Oh, ally! Ding, 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 bingo word.
The third word is gender. And the fourth word is gender role. Take a moment and think about what each of those words means or where you might have seen it before. So we have acceptance, ally or allyship, gender, and gender role. 4 words. 4 words. Now I'm going to read to you our definitions for each of these 4 words from Seattle Public Schools. Acceptance means being supportive, kind, or friendly to others, accepting others and their differences. Ally. An ally is a person who works for equality to support people and groups that are different from them. Anyone can be an ally.
So,
gender.
We know that in second grade in the Seattle Public Schools, they are introducing the concept of allyship. That's what this video is telling us. This is when they start to introduce the concepts. And this is stuff we have to pay attention to, because the way that people think this stuff is taught, critical race theory, social emotional learning, the gender stuff, the way people think this is taught in schools is actually very different from the way it's taught in schools. They do a very slow progression where they introduce one basic concept and then they let it sit, and then they introduce another one, they let it sit, they introduce another one, they let it sit. So it's not being taught. Like, these states that are passing laws against this stuff, they're not going to be effective because the laws are not actually speaking to how it's being taught when it's in real life. So that's what one of the reasons that we're watching this, to pay attention to this. But he's about to define gender as a feeling of whether or not you're a boy or a girl, or nothing. So gender apparently is just a feeling now. Let's watch.
Is a person's feeling about being either a boy,
person's feeling about being a boy or a girl.
Neither, both.
That's what your gender is. Your feelings.
And gender role are cultural ways of how men and women are supposed to act. So thinking about our expectation. Now, we're going to also provide extra emphasis on the word allyship. So we are going to, as we learn about this main character and all of the amazing characters around this main character, all the supporting characters, we're going to identify who is an ally and the ways in which they show allyship. So how we act out being an ally. So let's take a look at this book together. Jacob's New Dress. Jacob's New Dress, again by Sarah and Ian Hoffman, illustrated by Chris Case.
Being a boy is a feeling.
Jacob ran to join Emily in the dress-up corner. Here's Jacob. Here's Emily. And here is the dress-up corner.
Oh, but this is for second graders. Don't worry, this is for second grade. This is 7.
Emily slid into a shiny yellow dress, while Jacob wiggled into a sparkly pink dress. They both reached for the crown, but Jacob got there first. "I'll be the princess," he said. Christopher frowned. "Jacob, why do you always wear the girl clothes? Put on the knight armor. That's what a boy wears." "Christopher, stop telling us what to do," said Emily. Here's Emily. Here's Christopher. And here's Jacob. Now here we see, what do we see? What do we
No.
But
no, you're making this up. You skipped ahead. Tell me you're lying.
And here we have Emily,
no.
who's standing up for Christopher, showing allyship and saying, "Stop telling us what to do. That's not polite to tell someone what to do." She's showing tremendous courage. Miss Wilson heard the hubbub. "What's going on, kids?" "Jacob is wearing girls' clothes," complained Christopher. "The dress-up corner is where we come to use our imaginations," Miss Wilson said. "You can be a dinosaur, a princess, a farmer, anything. Christopher, what do you want to be?" "A boy," Christopher scowled. Miss Wilson.
Bot, you are shitting me. It's in their sex ed lesson plan. Can you DM that to me, please? They're teaching... Bot, are you fucking serious? They're teaching about oral sex in 4th grade? Jesus Christ.
Wilson smiled. "Jacob, you try it. What new thing could you imagine being? A firefighter? Policeman?" "Miss Wilson," Jacob said proudly, "I'm the princess." Showing tremendous courage again.
I'm gonna be honest. I actually like this. I don't mind them having dress up corner and creativity time. I don't mind that. I don't mind boys dressing up in dresses or girls cutting their hair short. I don't mind him wearing a fucking crown. Like, who cares? I don't mind this at all.
Let's see what happens next. "How was school today?" Mom asked, studying Jacob's face. "Fun?" "Christopher says boys can't wear dresses," said Jacob. "Can they?" "Of course they can." Mom hugged Jacob. "Why don't you get the dress you wore on Halloween and play in that?" So here we have a mom who is showing acceptance and also showing allyship.
Playing dress up is not a big deal.
That Jacob can wear what Jacob wants to wear. And that's pretty awesome and powerful. Let's see what happens next. Jacob pulled on his witch's dress and twirled. He loved the way the black lace swirled around him. "I want to wear my dress to school." Jacob's mom frowned. "I don't think so," she said. "That's for dress up at home. It would get dirty at school." "Then can I get a regular dress? A dress I can wear to school?" Mom was quiet. "Let me think about that," he said. Now let's take a moment and think. We just saw what happened to Jacob at school, where somebody was trying to make Jacob feel bad for what Jacob wanted to wear. Now let's think about why Jacob's mom might be a little hesitant or nervous to say yes when Jacob asks this request or makes this request of wanting to wear a dress to school. Now, if we think back to the previous scene that we saw, Jacob was targeted, meaning like he was bullied. Somebody was not very nice to him, didn't show acceptance. They was trying to make him feel bad for being who he is. So that might be a reason why, if we think about why the parent in this story, Jacob's mom,
Thank you,
might be
Bot.
a little bit nervous at first. But that's not really showing acceptance. That's not really showing allyship. Let's see what else happens. Let's take a look. Jacob wondered what to play next. Pirate? Princess? Bird! Heaping 3 towels onto the floor, Jacob made a nest. Then he wrapped another towel around himself for feathers. Snug and warm, he imagined what a school dress would look like.
It's the Flash curriculum.
The next morning, Jacob stood at the stairs wrapped in a giant bath towel. "What are you wearing?" asked Mom. "It's like a dress, but I can get it dirty," Jacob said, pointing to the towel. "I made it." Dad frowned. "You can't go to school like that."
Correct. You
"Put
cannot
on
go to
some
school
shorts
wearing
and
a bath
shirt under
towel.
the dress thing," Mom said. "And hurry, we'll be late for school." "What's that?" demanded Christopher. Jacob moved closer to his mom. "Good morning, Christopher," said Jacob's mom. "Jacob's wearing something new he invented. Isn't it nice?" Christopher didn't answer. "I want a dress like that," cried Emily. "Where'd you get it?" "It's not a dress," said Jacob, glancing up at his mom. "It's a dress thing." Jacob saw Emily's smile and grinned back. "I can make you one." So here we see somebody showing acceptance. What's that other word we were talking about earlier? Do you remember that word ally or allyship? Once again, Emily is just the #1 model of allyship, showing tremendous allyship and acceptance of her really good friend, Jacob. Let's see what happens next. The playground was full of laughter and running feet as the children played tag. Christopher sneaked up, yanked.
Oh, what the hell? Am I still on? I think I'm still on. What the hell just happened? What happened? Did someone cut off our video? Hang on.
For being who he is.
There we go.
Jacob made a nest.
Video's back.
You remember that word ally or allyship? Once again, Emily is just after and running feet as the children played tag. Christopher sneaked up, yanked Jacob's towel, and ran away whooping. "Christopher is mean," hissed Emily. Jacob watched Christopher wave the towel like a captured flag and started to cry. How might you feel, students, if somebody did that to you, where you were wearing what made you feel good or doing something that made you feel good, and they took it away from you or made you feel bad for wanting to do that?
I think it's good
How
to
might that
teach
make
kids
you
not to
feel?
bully other kids, so I don't
Probably
mind
not
this.
very good. Christopher is not showing acceptance, nor is Christopher showing allyship. "How was school today?" Mom asked. "Christopher stole my dress thing," said Jacob. The tears flooded back. Mom hugged Jacob. "I'm sorry. Christopher's not always a good friend." "Mom," whispered Jacob, "can you help me make a real dress?" Mom didn't answer. The longer she didn't answer, the less Jacob could breathe. Why do you think Jacob might have a hard time breathing when the person that, loves him most in the world is not giving him an answer?
It's not giving
It
him
can
what
feel
he
really
wants.
scary. It takes tremendous courage to share something that is so personal, that makes us feel so vulnerable with somebody that we love so much, like a parent. But Jacob showed that vulnerability. Now let's see how Jacob's mom responds. Might be with allyship, might be with acceptance. Let's take a look. "Let's get this sewing machine," she said finally. Jacob felt the air refill his body. He grinned. Mom smiled back. "There are all sorts of ways to be a boy," she said. "Right?" You can see Jacob grinning. You can also see Jacob's mom smiling. It's really special. So this is an example of allyship and acceptance. Showing allyship by doing something to support someone who is different than.
See, here's the problem. Because I don't actually have any problem with any of what this book is talking about. I have no problem with it at all. I don't think it's wrong for young kids to wear dresses. If they're boys, I don't care. I don't care if they want to wear a towel to school. I think it's wrong for the kids to pull the towel off to make fun of them. I like that the mother is supporting her kid. I like all of that. That there's nothing wrong about that. The problem is that this is going to be weaponized later when Jacob is a teenager and is demanding that he gets surgery or to go on hormones that could potentially make him infertile. And if his mother doesn't say, yes, dear, you can have whatever you want, then he's going to say, you're not a good ally, you don't support me, you don't love me. And it's going to go like, it's going to be a spiral. That's where I start to have a problem with it. There's nothing wrong with people wearing an outfit. Who the F cares? But the problem comes when this stuff is weaponized later and parents are pushed into a corner where they feel like they have to go along with whatever the child wants and whatever the child says, even if what that child really needs is therapy. Which, I'm sorry, but if a kid has gender dysphoria, and I don't think therapy is a bad thing, I think everyone can use a little therapy now and then. I don't think it's bad. But if a kid has gender dysphoria, they absolutely need therapy. They absolutely need someone to talk to that can help them to figure it out, learn how to exist and have a fulfilling and happy life. What they don't need is mom and dad putting them on puberty blockers, which will potentially mean so they can't have kids. When in fact, he might just be gay. Jacob might just be gay. And that's okay too. So no problem with any of this book, but it's what is disturbing to me is the progression of which this stuff takes. It's not this specifically that bothers me. It's the progression of what's going to happen later.
Dad looked up from his book. Mom and I made a dress, said Jacob quietly.
And if eventually, after they're over 18 and they've had many years of therapy and they decide that, yes, they do want to have surgery and they do want to have a medical intervention, I have no issue with that. After they're 18, when they're paying for it themselves.
Dad studied the dress. Jacob started to get that can't breathe feeling. I can see you worked hard on that dress, said Dad. Are you sure you want to wear it to school? Jacob nodded. Dad nodded back and smiled. Well, it's not what I would wear, but you look great. This is an example of Jacob's dad showing acceptance. So Jacob's dad is accepting somebody who's different from him. In this case, Jacob's dad's child, Jacob. And is also showing allyship by saying, that's great. I support you. I support you in being who you are, even though that is different from me. That's really special. Let's continue on. Jacob skipped up the front walk to school. He found Emily inside and showed her his new dress. They found matching colors on their clothes and laughed, purple and white. Do you want to play dress up? Asked Emily. No, monkey bars. Together they ran out to the playground. Here they are playing in their purple and white dress. My mom and I made this dress, Jacob said proudly at circle time. We used her sewing machine. That's wonderful, said Miss Wilson. Was the sewing machine hard to use? Why does Jacob wear dresses? Interrupted Christopher. Mrs. Wilson paused. I think Jacob wears what he's comfortable in, just like you do. Not very long ago, girls couldn't wear pants. Can you imagine that? So here we have Miss Wilson showing tremendous allyship and acceptance and demonstrating that to all of her students.
I like that.
Saying,
I do.
Jacob wears whatever he wants to wear, just like you do. Right? And that's pretty cool. That's a good thing to think about. Let's read on. Christopher shook his head. I asked my dad, and he says boys don't wear dresses.
What the hell, Seattle Public Schools? You have one job. We just want to watch your videos that you put on the internet. Why do you keep fucking it up for us, Seattle? Come on. Of 29. Sorry, guys. I can't control when the Seattle Public Schools is being a dick.
My dad, and he says boys don't wear dresses. Jacob rubbed the hem of his dress, looking at the little stitches he'd sewn himself. He could hear Miss Wilson and the other kids talking, but their words sounded far away. So it's amazing here. We have Jacob, who is expressing the ways that he wants to express, dressing how he wants to dress, doing what makes him feel comfortable, and that's providing him with a sense of security. Let's find out more. On the playground, Christopher yelled, "Let's play tag, boys versus girls." "Jacob, you're on the girls' team." A bunch of kids laughed. Jacob felt his dress surrounding him like armor. Soft, cottony, magic armor. See what happens next. "Christopher, I made this dress. I'm proud of it, and I'm going to wear it." "And you know what else?" Jacob tagged Christopher. "You're it." Jacob sprinted across the playground, his dress spreading out. And that's the end of this book. So again, that was Jacob's New Dress, written by Sarah and Ian Hoffman, illustrated by Chris Case.
I didn't think that was that bad, gonna be honest.
Now, those words we covered again were acceptance, allyship, gender, and gender roles. So I want us to think through real quick, particularly focusing in on allyship and ally. Think about who was a really important ally in the story, because it wasn't just one person. I also want you to think about when that character demonstrated allyship. And I'd like for you to share that with your parent or a guardian or an older sibling. The ones I want you to focus in on are the characters Emily, so that's Jacob's best friend, also Jacob's mom, Jacob's dad, and Jacob's teacher, Miss Wilson. Each character demonstrated allyship and acceptance in a different way. So share that with a parent or guardian. Thank you so much for joining me on this amazing book. I hope you loved it as much as I did. And thank you all for being uniquely you. Take care.
I didn't think that was that bad. All right. I do want to show you guys what Bot sent me in terms of their sex ed curriculum, though, before we get into the other videos. We got a couple more grade levels to go, and I just want to show everyone this. So check this out. So someone, and I think it was our friend in Seattle, mentioned the Flash curriculum earlier. So Bot found this on Seattle and King County, 1985. Okay. Oh, there's the URL on it. Holy shit. Okay, hang on. Let me get the URL up. But I just want, this is their sex ed curriculum, kingcounty.gov/health/flash. This is something I'm not going to look at today because we got other stuff to do today. But this is the sex ed curriculum, and you can see here. Why isn't that getting bigger? Oh, okay. So you can see here, Flash key concepts. This is elementary Flash grade 4 through 6. Abstinence is choosing to not have oral, anal, and vaginal sex. There are times in everyone's life when abstaining from sex is the healthiest choice. One would think that's probably true in grades 4 through 6. But I'm going to have a look at that Flash curriculum another day. We're not going to do that right now because we got other stuff to do. We got a couple more grades to cover in terms of this Seattle Public Schools book kit. Thank you guys for sticking with me tonight. If you're still sticking with me, if you're not, that's cool too. The replay will be here for you when you're ready. But guys, please mount that like button for me if you have not already. And I just want to do a great big thank you to folks on Odyssey and on Rockfin and on Rumble and even on Getter that are watching this stream. I'm just doing a quick check-in with you guys. I appreciate it. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Whichever platform you're watching on, please make sure you mount that like button if you haven't already. On YouTube, definitely turn on those notifications as well, because 50-50 about whether or not YouTube is ever going to tell you if I post a new video, which is pretty much every day. Let's move into the third grade. Third grade in Seattle Public Schools. Is that for a boy or a girl? Okay, which one? Let's start with, is that for a boy or a girl? Oh, 17 fucking minutes. We got fourth grade. Let me just look at this real quick. It's good to... I am Jazz. Jazz Jennings making an appearance. I don't mind Jazz Jennings, if I'm really honest about it. I mean, overtly. I don't necessarily... I don't think Jazz Jennings is like a bad person. Okay, so It Feels Good to Be Yourself is making an appearance like 3 times, so we know we're not going to have to watch that one again. Let's watch Is This Good for a Boy or a Girl? And by the way, guys, I just want to note this, like, this is not just about watching these kind of creepy videos that the Seattle Public Schools are using to teach good allyship to elementary schools. It's not just about that. When you are investigating the schools, when you're looking into their websites, especially when you just get started, you need to make sure you watch things. You need to make sure you are reading things. You need to, like, it is not just about a quick skim. So it does actually, and this is one of the challenges of investigating the schools like this, it does take time. It just takes time. It takes time to watch their videos from start to finish, because you know in the middle of that video somewhere there's going to be something really crazy, and you want to make sure you see the crazy stuff, but in order to find the crazy stuff, you have to watch everything around the crazy stuff. In order to find the crazy documents, you have to read all the documents. So this stuff it just takes time. We've been going for 3.5 hours. It just takes time. And that's one of the realities of this. But just know that, like, we're going a long time right now because I want to watch these videos, but you don't always have to do everything in one sitting. So it's okay to take your time. Like, when you first start looking into your school's website, it's perfectly fine to, like, do maybe like half an hour to an hour a night. If you like, just spend a little bit of time, and then spend a little bit of time the next day, spend a little bit of time the next day, maybe take the next day off. Like, it's okay to slowly kind of work your way through it. We're doing a marathon right now with this because I wanted to do a deep dive into what was going on and find some stuff, and we obviously hit the mark with these videos. But you don't always have to do everything in one sitting. You shouldn't feel like a failure if you're not doing it in one sitting. Chances are that anything you find on your school's websites have been there for like a hot minute. And so it is not an emergency for you to rifle through everything in one sitting. And I just want to assure people that that's okay, because the number one thing that I think holds people back from doing this is the time commitment involved. And it's okay to spread it out. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Hi there, students. My name is Brennan Ham, and I'm the Health Education Specialist and Trainer for Seattle Public Schools. I prefer my name to pronouns, but anything said with respect is great. So they, she, and he all work for me. One of the awesome parts about my job is that I get to read fantastic books with awesome students like you. So we are going to read a very, very good book today. This book is called Is That for a Boy or a Girl? And this is written by S. Bear Bergman. It is illustrated by Rachel Doherty.
I don't think its clothes are normal. They're just normal by comparison.
Yeah, the title kind of explains itself. So we will learn about some really, really awesome, cool characters and the things that they like to wear and the things that they like to do. All right. So before we begin, there are 7 words that we are going to try and tackle.
7
to help us
words.
better understand the story. So these are going to help us contextualize what we're learning.
You guys got the shimmer nail polish, John.
The first word is acceptance. Take a moment after I say each word and think about where you might have seen this word or what it means to you. So that first word again is acceptance. The second word is ally or allyship. Ally or allyship.
I've already learned that word.
The third word is biological sex.
Oh, new word.
The fourth word is gender.
Now remember, gender is a feeling. And so I want to know what biological sex is.
Is gender identity. The sixth is gender role. And the seventh and final word is the word stereotype. Now, I'm going to read to you some of our Seattle Public Schools definitions for each of these words for the 3rd grade. Now listen closely. Acceptance. Acceptance is the act or state of being supportive, kind, or friendly to others. It is especially important to show acceptance to groups that are different than you. Ally. An ally is a person who works for equality to support people and groups different than them. Anyone can be an ally.
Mount the like button if you're a good ally.
Are the body and body parts you are born with.
Oh, okay.
Gender. Gender is a person's feeling about being either a boy, a girl, neither, both, somewhere in between,
Well,
or another gender.
let's just celebrate for a moment that they are at least acknowledging there is such a thing as biological sex, and it does have to do, indeed, with the body parts with which you are born. They're saying gender is a feeling. I don't like that. But the fact that they acknowledge that biological sex is a real thing instead of a social construct is probably, not the worst thing that we've ever seen.
Gender identity is a person's internal, deeply felt sense of being either a boy or girl.
Sorry. Brooklyn Way, I missed your super chat. I apologize, Brooklyn Way. Hang on, I gotta get the super chat. And don't worry about that thing on Twitter earlier. Like, whatever, that woman was crazy. Karlyn, clip that. And thinking about our expectations as a segue misspelled into allyship, breadcrumbing equals grooming. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I haven't heard the term breadcrumbing before, but I definitely agree with that.
Either or both, or something else altogether.
He does sound like a hypnotist.
Gender role.
You're right, Judy.
Cultural ways of how men and women are supposed to act. So think of expectation. And finally, stereotype. Stereotype is to believe unfairly that all people with a particular characteristic are the same. For example, all girls like flowers. That is a stereotype. Now, thank you so much for learning those words with me. Now we're going to use those words. Again, they are acceptance, allyship, biological sex, gender, gender identity, gender roles, and stereotype. And we're going to use these words to help us better understand this amazing story. Before we do that, we have one fun activity. So you are going to see before you some different activities and different
activities,
jobs or items that people tend to associate with either being boy items or girl items. So take a moment and look at these items.
Why are they reinforcing gender stereotypes?
So that can tell us about medicine. So who's a doctor? Are
everyone
men doctor or are women doctors? Who is a doctor?
Everyone.
Now, books. Are books for boys or are books for girls?
Everyone.
What about soccer?
Everyone.
Is soccer for boys or is soccer for girls?
Why are they doing this?
What about archery? Is archery for boys or for girls?
All of this is for boys.
How about motorcycles?
Well, in their mind.
Men or do women
but not really.
ride motorcycles?
Well, except for nail polish.
How about nail polish? How about stuffed animals?
When I was in high school, like, boys wore nail polish too. Guess what? They were called goths. That's what it was. Men have always worn makeup. It's like these people have never heard of David Bowie. Makeup on boys is not a new thing. I don't know why do they continue to reinforce gender stereotypes that there is no need to reinforce at all. Men have worn makeup forever. Forever. Do you want to go back to, like, France in the era of Versailles? Men were wearing a lot of makeup in France in the 1400s in Versailles. I think it was the 1400s. Men were wearing high-heeled shoes and these flowery, flowy capes. Have any of these people ever watched any European history at all? Yeah, the Queen wears makeup. He does, because he thinks he's David Bowie in his head, or that other guy, the non-binary dude, Sam Smith, I guess. I don't know. This is, like, I don't know why these people feel the need to reinforce gender stereotypes.
What about trucks?
I thought they wanted to teach accurate history. Why are they teaching accurate history? That men have always worn makeup and flowery clothes.
Items or activities or roles for men only, for women only, or were some of them for both?
Okay, I may have overshot Versailles.
Let's see how this is challenged by what we read.
Versailles was a long time ago.
Let's begin. So we have, Is That for a Boy or a Girl? Written by S. Bear Bergman and illustrated by Rachel Doherty. Is that for a boy or? Oh, don't people have so many thoughts about liking to dance or liking sports? They say some things are for girls and some for boys. Activities, clothes, colors, and toys. The shows on your TV, the stuff at the mall, they make sure these ideas are heard by all. Lots of kids don't fit in a box, though you'd think we all did the way most people talk.
Yes, this is correct, Bot. There is nothing wrong with the queen wearing makeup. He just needed to blend it more. It's not the makeup I'm judging, it is the application. And you are the one that showed that to me in the first place.
So please
So
meet
I don't
my
even take any
friends with their own
responsibility.
likes and ways. You might meet them or be them one of
God,
these
it's a
days.
poem.
I love bugs and crawly things, beetles and centipedes, creatures with wings. T-Rex and pterodon, all the dinos, lions, giraffes, tigers, and rhinos. But all the girls' clothes have the same two designs.
You're not
just
wrong,
endless
Brooklyn
kittens
Way.
and flowers on vines. Where are my hot pink jungle cats, my lavender raptors and glittery bats? Roar! So here we have a person who loves dinosaurs and loves bugs, but doesn't want, the same two designs on clothes. So endless kittens and flowers on vines. This person wants hot pink jungle cats and lavender raptors and glittery bats.
3rd grade, Alexandra. Pretty sure.
Sometimes I like my tiger pants, and sometimes a spin-around dress. There are days I adore my tidy braids,
Might be 4th.
but sometimes my hair is a beautiful mess. People ask my folks a lot, is that a boy or a girl? My parents just smile and say, that's Morgan, the awesomest kid in the world.
Non-binary.
So here we have Morgan, and Morgan has tiger pants, but also has a dress and amazing boots, cool pants. Morgan's just Morgan, and Morgan's parents see that and recognize that. That's a way of showing acceptance and allyship. Now we're going to learn about another character. I don't know what I like yet. I'm too little to choose, so whatever I get is picked by my family, my folks, and their friends. I get lots of presents. Hope that never ends. I know their search for awesome things is almost never done. Not boy or girl or pink or blue, but green and orange, teaching and fun. When they ask for help in a store, the answer is such a bore. Is that for a girl or a boy? Who cares? Show us only the coolest of toys. So here we see parents who are showing acceptance and allyship. They're not forcing anything on.
They're just buying
letting their
toys.
kid choose what the most awesome toys are, which is really cool. Let's learn more.
It is a baby.
I love to
You're
play
right, it's a
trains and
baby.
buses.
Holy shit.
That's just the way I am. But I'm also a kid who loves sparkle and shine and anything glitter or glam. I've got lots of shirts in camo or black, a train on the front, a truck on the back. But my dad's got a sack full of rhinestones and he outlines every last tractor in sparkles for me. Very cool. This person's outfit is amazing. But it sounds like this person is also demonstrating the ways in which their parent, or their dad in this case, has provided acceptance and allyship and helps them make sure that their outfits have some glitter
Their
and glam.
dad has a bedazzler. Did anyone have a
Now we're gonna look
bedazzler?
at our
I had a
next
bedazzler.
character. At Snack Queen, I order a junior lunch. Fish sandwich and apples. I like it a bunch. Then they ask my mom, for a girl or a boy, how can I choose without seeing the toys? Maybe it's robots, which I always like, or a little skateboard or a tricky green bike. But if it's an animal, especially a horse, then that's the toy I'll choose, of course. So here we have another awesome character who likes lots of different things, right? It's not just a skateboard. It's not just a bike. It's not just horses. But this person has said that their favorite thing is horses. So for sure, they'll choose a horse, of course. But just goes to show, again, all these things can be liked by anybody. It's rad. Let's learn about another character. Monday is football. Wednesday's ballet. Tuesday and Thursday, I act in a play. Sundays at church. Saturdays we bake. Free time is reading while I eat what I make. I'll learn to snowboard next year when I'm tall and shred down the mountain, big jumps but no falls. I like to do everything. I mix all kinds of play. My whole family does too. We're all happy that way. So here you have a character who likes football, Who do we generally associate football with? Boys or girls? And what about ballet? This character also likes ballet. Who do we generally associate ballet with? Do only girls do ballet? Or do some boys do ballet too? And maybe
Boys
not all
have
girls
always
like
done ballet. That's
What
not
about
new.
snowboarding? We see here, we've got the same character loves to snowboard.
Didn't Greg on the
and
Brady
bake
Bunch do
and practice
ballet?
their
Because it would help
faith.
him with football. Am I making that up?
Seems like all these things could be for maybe anybody, don't you think? Let's learn some more. I have a dress, just one that I love, with a sparkly skirt and some ruffles above. Most days I like to wear sneakers and jeans. But when I wear my dress, I know what that means. I'm airy and delicate, floating and prancing. I twirl around my skirt, I cannot help dancing. Tomorrow I'll go back to climb, jump, and run, but this fancy feeling is also such fun. Now, what do you think about running or jumping or climbing trees? Who do we generally associate those activities with?
Kids.
So we might talk about how we might stereotypically think that running around and being rough is only for boys, or being fancy in a dress is only for girls. But what we find is that people can do both and do whatever feels fun for them. Let's learn about another character.
I was not far off from that.
I'm sometimes a princess. I don't mind pink. What bothers me more is the stuff people think. My twin brother runs wild, and it's boys will be boys. I'm scolded if I even bang on my toys. But I'm powerful, I'm smart, and I'm strong. Don't look at me like I'm doing it wrong. I could rescue myself from a dragon in tower. My auntie says that I've got girl power. Now, when we think about people in stories or people who are trapped by dragons, we generally think that the person who's going to be saved is a girl and the person who's going to do the saving is a boy. But this person says, I'm going to save myself, which is also really rad.
I actually think that that's kind of cool.
Again,
I do.
challenging those ideas of stereotypes or those gender roles that we see.
So it's occurring to me in this. So, like, one of the things I've definitely noticed on the conservative right is they are going hard into form. The conservative right is actually going like they're trying to reinforce the gender roles. Like a lot of them, not all of them, but many of them are going hard into like these traditional gender roles. And it's like, I'm not sure that doing that is actually better than what's going on here. Now, again, I don't like the gender ideology in school, but what I do like is teaching kids that they can do whatever they want and they, whatever, that's fine. And that you should just like accept people for who they are and what they like. I like all that. And I actually like, I don't even mind the way this book is being presented if I'm being really honest about it. And this is concerning to me because if I have to look at the conservative right and see things like repeal the 19th Amendment and, get in the kitchen and make me a sandwich and like all this like barefoot and pregnant stuff, like the traditional gender roles. And there's nothing wrong, by the way, with adhering to traditional gender roles. I don't like if you're making the choice to do that, I think that that's fine. I don't really care. But like if I have to choose between that and teaching kids that you can do whatever you want and what your gender is doesn't really matter. Like, I'm going to choose the latter. The problem is, though, that again, this is going to be weaponized later. And it's really kind of annoying to me that they're like, that the two sides, this wasn't hard in the 90s. I was a tomboy in the 90s. I could play outside. I could play with G.I. Joes. I could dress like a boy. I could have a haircut like a boy. No one ever made a big deal out of it. It was just what it was. So my problem is that they're weaponizing this to try to, I don't even know what anymore. But it's being presented in this case as being like, this is reasonable. I'm sorry. Like, okay, like he's got a crazy outfit and he's a little flamboyant, like whatever. I'm struggling with this though, because I'm like, between the conservative right and the traditional gender role absolutists and something like this, I would actually more likely choose something like this that teaches kids you can be whatever you want to be, you can say whatever you want to say, even though I know it's going to be weaponized later. I actually think that this is a better lesson to teach. I just wish that the left hadn't taken it too far.
We see that people can actually do whatever they want to do and like what they like. It's pretty rad. Let's keep reading.
Yeah. Brooklyn Way. This is crazy, and if you do not understand the Marxist manipulation, you will not see it or catch it. That's exactly right. It's like, there's nothing crazy about this book necessarily. There's really not. Yet, anyway, I shouldn't speak too soon. As soon as I say that, they're gonna say something crazy. But like, this on the face of it is not crazy, and it is not bad. It's what they do with this that is crazy and bad.
Do I want to grow up to play basketball? Did you ask me just because I'm skinny and tall? I like to play, but I love words and writing. Also reading and reciting. It's not boyish, fast, and tough, but my words can be gentle or they can be rough. I can tell real truths or make up whole worlds, where sports and trucks are only for girls. Do you all like poems or reading or writing or reciting? Do you like basketball? Do you like trucks? Just curious. This person has incorporated all of that, just kind of challenged all those ways that we think about those things traditionally, which is really cool. Let's continue to read. At home, I just use the bathroom. There's no upset or drama or doom, like there is when I go to a store or to school, and people act like I'm trying to fool them when I push open the right one for me. They say I'm mistaken. How can that be? I'm the expert. I'm in my own body. Just let me pee. No need to get snotty. This person is talking about a very real struggle that a lot of people have when they go to a public place and don't really feel safe going to the bathroom. Or when they go and they know they want to go to use the restroom and somebody makes them feel like they're not welcome or allowed to be there.
See, this is where it's
Now
starting to get
remember,
political.
at
This is
Seattle Public
unnecessary.
Schools, students get to use the bathroom that aligns with how they consistently assert themselves in schools. So that means if somebody says, I'm a boy, they get to use the boys' restroom. If somebody says, I'm a girl, they get to use the girls' restroom. If somebody doesn't identify as in either of those ways, they get to use whatever bathroom feels most comfortable and safest to them. Now, students, if you're unclear or unsure of how that works, please talk to your teachers. And that will be really important when we re-enter schools after the pandemic is over. Let's continue reading and find out more about these characters. For graduation, we make our procession and celebrate all that we've done. All the boys get a tie, girls get a rose. They're forgotten as soon as we're done with the show. Everyone's asking me which one I'd wear. That's awfully nice, and I'm so glad they care. But why separate people by gender at all? Just give us all hats and let us stand tall. This is an example of where someone is asking for allyship from everybody. We're fighting for equality for all people of all genders. So at graduation, rather than separating people into boys and girls, just let us be proud of the work that we've done and graduate together, standing tall. Really awesome. Let's read the final page together. Here we have them celebrating together. Thank you so much for reading with me. Is That for a Girl?
They didn't even talk about biological sex in this.
Illustrated by Rachel Doherty. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Now, what I'd like for us to do is think back to those activities and roles that we saw earlier that we said were either for boys or for girls. And I want us to think through them again. So we're going to look at that image one more time. So doctors. Are doctors women? Are they men? Or are they both? Doctors are for everybody. Very good. Everybody can be a doctor. Anyone can be a doctor. And what about books? Yeah, anybody can like books and read books. What about soccer? Same thing is true. I'm sensing a trend, y'all. And archery, totally.
How about you just say that everyone can like everything and it's fine?
They're for adults, but they're for everybody.
I actually like that he pointed out for adults. Okay, legit.
Same deal. Nail polish, absolutely. Stuffed animals are also for boys and girls and everybody. Same deal with trucks. Awesome. Yeah, so I think the thing that we learned here is that, again, there are no boys colors, toys, or games, just as there are no girls, colors, toys, or games. People can simply like what they like. And one of the ways that we can show acceptance is that when we see somebody or recognize that their interests are different than our own, that we don't need to make them feel bad. We can demonstrate allyship and acceptance by supporting them for being who they are, remembering that people simply like what they like. Thank you so much for reading along with me today.
All
Hope
right.
you enjoyed the book as much as I did. Take good care, y'all.
It feels good to be yourself. Now, it feels good to be yourself shows up in the 4th grade and the 5th grade. I don't know if I want to read the I Am Jazz. Oh, God, these take so long. All right, then we got a crayon story. Okay. So we are on, guys. If you're new or you're just coming into the stream, we are on the 3rd grade curriculum in the Seattle Public Schools. This is their K-5 gender books, and we're just watching them because we are masochists, and this is what we do for fun. Mount that like button if you appreciate me showing you this. Let's watch. It feels good to be yourself. We probably should watch I Am Jazz. We should. Okay, we'll do it. Fine, whatever. The stream is going really long.
Hi there, students. My name is
See, he looks normal here.
Trainer for Seattle Public Schools. I prefer my name to pronouns, but anything set up is great. So they, she, and he all work for me. I'm really excited because we are going to read an amazing book together today.
His clothes are getting progressively more normal.
Good to be yourself. This is written by Teresa Thorne and illustrated by Noah Grigg. Now,
I actually think it looks better here than he did in the other one.
Vocabulary words and some lessons. But before we do that, a reminder that this is for 3rd graders. So if you're older than 3rd grade, feel free to join us. If you're younger than 3rd grade, be sure you have an adult or older sibling, a parent, a guardian with you present. So that way, if you have any extra questions, you can ask them. So we're going to learn about these amazing words that are going to help us really understand the story a little bit better. So come on in and join me.
It's nice, colorful. Oh.
So the first word that we're going to learn is up here. It's sex assigned at birth.
Oh, good.
This is what is listed on a newborn baby's birth certificate. Adults involved in the baby's birth say whether the baby appears to be male or female. The next word is intersex. Intersex.
They're teaching 3rd graders
not
about
all people's bodies are exactly male or female. Intersex means that from birth, someone's body doesn't match exactly.
A note about pronouns.
The next word is gender identity. This is who you feel like within yourself, whether you feel like a boy, a girl, some combination of boy and girl, or something else. Your gender identity is who you know yourself to be. It might match your sex assigned at birth, or it might not. The next vocabulary word we have is gender expression. This is how you choose to present yourself to the world. Which clothes you wear, how you style your hair.
They've got cisgender, transgender, and non-binary. Holy shit. 3rd grade.
Identity.
This would not be legal in Florida.
A never-ending number of ways to express your gender identity. Too many fit in a book. Too many to fit in a book. The next word is cisgender. This is when your gender identity matches your sex assignment. Transgender. This is when your gender identity is different from your sex assigned at birth. And finally, the word non-binary. Non-binary is when this is a way to describe many identities that fall between boy and girl or outside the binary of boy and girl. There cannot be one definition because there is no one way to be non-binary. So thank you for reading those vocabulary words with me. Now we're going to jump into the story and learn more about the characters. Let's begin. Feels good to be yourself. A book about gender identity, written by Teresa Thorne and illustrated by Noah Grigg.
3rd grade, 8 years old.
This is Ruthie. She is a transgender girl. That means when she was born, everyone thought she was a boy, until she grew a little older, old enough to tell everyone she's actually a girl. Girl is Ruthie's gender identity. This is Ruthie's brother, Xavier. Xavier is a cisgender boy. That means when Xavier was born, everyone thought he was a boy. And as he grew older, he told everyone they were right. He is a boy. Boy is Xavier's gender identity.
What is that
Now,
dog's gender
students, I want you
identity?
to take a moment as we are learning about these characters and all of the people around them in their lives. I want us to take note of how the people in their life provide support to them. In what ways do the adults in Ruthie's life respond? In what ways do Ruthie's peers or siblings respond? Try to take a moment and notice that. And I want us to think about if somebody were to share with us something about themselves like this, how would we respond to make them feel loved and safe? And a reminder that at Seattle Public Schools, all of our students need to feel loved, and we want to make sure that you know you are loved, regardless of your identity, or because of your identities.
Teachers should not love students. That is wrong.
There are so many different ways to be a boy or a girl, too many to fit in a book. But not everyone feels either like a boy or a girl. Non-binary is a helpful word that can describe a kid who doesn't feel exactly like
that dog in the pink shirt is definitely non-binary.
All these different ways. Being boy or girl or something else. Let's keep reading. This is Ruthie's friend Alex. Alex is both a boy and a girl.
You can be both?
When Alex was born, everyone thought Alex was a girl. But Alex is both boy and girl. This is Alex's gender identity.
How can you be both?
This is Alex's friend, JJ. JJ is neither a boy nor a girl.
What?
Ever since JJ was very little, they never felt exactly like a boy or a girl.
This makes no sense. I am confused.
This is JJ's gender identity.
I am just as confused by this as when I saw something on a GSA website in Madison, Wisconsin that said that you can be a non-binary lesbian. Because apparently, P.S. guys, lesbians can be non-binary too. I don't know what that means. If you are born with male parts and then you identify as non-binary, does that make you a lesbian? I don't know. But this is confusing to me. Sid, I feel the same way. How can someone be both a boy and a girl and someone else be no boy and girl at all? This makes no sense. This doesn't make any sense to me, and I'm 41. How is this going to make sense to an 8-year-old?
Alex and JJ are both non-binary. Just like there are many different
ways.
No,
Alex is not non-binary. He's both.
There are many different
they're
ways
both. What the
to
fuck?
Be non-binary. Too many to fit in a book.
Misgendered a fucking cartoon character.
Some kids feel like girls. Some kids feel like boys. Some kids feel like a little of both. Part boy, part girl.
That makes no sense.
Some kids don't feel exactly like a boy or a girl. They feel like neither. Some kids feel that their gender identity isn't always the same. It's often changing. All of that. And
this is why I'm losing my mind.
All the possible ways to be, some kids don't feel any of the words they know fit them exactly. There are a never-ending number of ways to be yourself. Whether you feel like a boy, a girl, both, or neither, or if you describe yourself another way, that is your gender identity. Your gender identity might match what people thought you were when you were born, or it might not. All of that is beautiful. See, when you were born, you couldn't tell people who you were or how you felt. They looked at you and made a guess. Maybe they got it right, maybe they got it wrong. What a baby's body looks like when they're born can be a clue to what a baby's gender will be, but not always. When people guess wrong, it's okay to let them know. Ruthie was 5 when she told her parents.
What?
I know you think I'm a boy, but really, I feel like a girl. Oops. Ruthie was a girl all along.
And they immediately put her on puberty blockers when she was 5 because she said over milk that she was really a girl.
I asked you to just think about ways that people in Ruthie's life might respond to her to provide support and love. So let's take a look again. Here we have Ruthie's entire family providing her with love and support after she shared something in a very brave way. It's very hard. It can be very hard to share some of those kinds of truths about yourself. And here, Ruthie is being brave
When
and
you're
courageous,
5?
letting people know who she is. And here, her family responds, when people guess right, it's also okay to let them know. Xavier was 3.5 when he told his family, I'm a boy.
Three
I like
and a
being
half?
a boy.
I'm sorry. I know I just shouted into the microphone, and I feel like I'm shouting into the microphone a lot. 3.5. Are you shitting me? Oh, wait. He's affirming, though. He's affirming that he's a boy. But, like, what? Why is there any sort of, like... If you're 3.5, just let him be a kid. If you're 5, just let them be a kid. If they want to wear a fucking dress, let them wear a dress. What the hell? I never had to do a big declaration to my family about what my gender identity was. This didn't happen in the 90s.
You might feel like a boy.
God.
You might feel like a girl. You might feel like both a boy and a girl, or like neither.
Or in the 80s even.
You
I guess I
feel
would
like
have
your
done it in
gender
the 80s.
changes from day to day or from year to year. You might feel like none of these words describes you perfectly. You might not be sure yet. Maybe you're still figuring it out. All of that is okay. Your feelings about your gender are real. Listen to your heart. No matter what your gender identity is, you are okay exactly the way that you are. And you are loved. It feels good to be yourself, doesn't it? And that is the end of this.
That was a
fabulous book.
horrible book.
Thank you so much for joining me as I read this with you. Again, this is a book about gender identity, and it's written by Teresa Thorne and illustrated by Noah Grigney. So thank you so much for reading this amazing book with me. I want us to do a little bit more thinking. So let's take a moment and consider why is it important for all of us to use the correct pronouns and the correct name when someone tells us their identity every time? Why might it feel important? So thinking to Ruthie, for example, when she says, hey, I'm a girl, my name is Ruthie, I use she and her pronouns. Why is it important that we respect that and call her Ruthie and use she, her pronouns every day? And if you're having trouble thinking about why that might be important, think about yourself. How might it, whatever pronouns you use, however you identify, whatever name you go by, how might it make you feel if someone didn't respect that?
It wouldn't make me feel anything at all.
Probably wouldn't feel very good. It's really important that you know that all of our students at Seattle Public Schools are welcome.
Listen, I was a tomboy growing up. I had short hair. I wore t-shirts and baggy clothes. Like, I was called a boy all the effing time. And it made no difference. And I didn't freak out and cry and then need a picture book to, like, make me feel better. You build resilience, dude. Like, it would make absolutely no difference to me at all if someone called me a boy. And that's what we should be teaching kids. Like, not, it would make you feel really bad if someone misgendered you and used the wrong pronouns. Like, no, you shouldn't be teaching people that. You teach them, if someone doesn't accept you the way you are, you ignore them and try not, and just, like, let it go.
For who they are. And it is their right to let us know their name and pronouns. And it's our responsibility, our co-responsibility, because we are all the community, to respect them, show them love and compassion and acceptance. So with that, I'd love for you to continue thinking about how that might make a person feel. Feel free to discuss it with a parent or a sibling. And I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining me as we read this book. And thank you for being uniquely you. Bye-bye.
That was a horrible book. That was a horrible book because it had no plot. There was no story. There was no arc. I didn't care about any of the characters. It was just about, you can be trans and it's okay. And it is okay if you're trans. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, like, being trans, but, like, that book sucked. That was not a good book. All right, we got a couple more grades left to go. Let's go up to 4th grade. We just read It Feels Good to Be Yourself. We don't need to do that one again. Bot wants us to listen to I Am Jazz. I've never heard this book. I know who Jazz Jennings is. I've watched probably 3 seasons of Jazz Jennings' show, which I didn't actually think was all that bad, to be really blunt about it. I mean, a little SJW and crazy and little definitely woke, but like I didn't think it was like that bad. But I've never listened to the book before, so I guess we're all going on an adventure today. I Am Jazz.
Hi there, students. My name is Brennan Ham, and I'm the Health Education Specialist here at Seattle Public Schools. I prefer my name to pronouns, but anything said with respect is great, so they, she, and he all work for me. One of the awesome parts about my job is that I get to read fantastic books to students like you. The first book that we're going to read today is I Am Jazz. So this is a book that we have for our 4th graders. This is written by Jessica Herthel and also Jazz Jennings herself, so that is the star of this book. It is illustrated
Phenomenally
by,
Latinx.
Sheila
What the
McNicholas.
hell?
I hope you enjoy it.
Fine, whatever.
Now, before
Fine.
we begin reading, there are 7, I know that's a lot, but 7
God.
vocabulary words that are really important to help us understand what we're reading better, a little bit more clearly. Now, these words are you ready? It's acceptance is the first one. Take a moment and think about what acceptance might mean or where you might have seen it. The second one is ally or allyship. The third one is biological sex. The fourth one is gender identity. Then we have gender roles or gender role. Then we have stereotype. And the 7th and final word is the word transgender. Now take a moment and think where you might have seen these words before.
I can't remember
Feel
where
free
I've
to
seen
press
them
pause
before.
on this video. Now I'm going to read to you the Seattle Public Schools definitions for each of these words. So listen. Acceptance is the act or state of being supportive or welcoming to others. It is especially important to show acceptance to people different than you. Ally or allyship. An ally is a person who works for equality to support people and groups different than them. Anyone can be an ally. Anyone can demonstrate allyship. Biological sex. Biological sex is the body and the body parts you are born with. Gender identity. Gender identity is a person's internal, deeply felt sense of being either a man, woman, boy, or girl, neither, both, or something else. Gender role. Gender role are cultural ways of how men and women are supposed to act. So think about expectations.
Diane, they keep saying gender is a
girls
feeling.
that are
That is what
different.
they keep saying.
Stereotype. Stereotyping is a generalization, usually negative, about a person based on a certain characteristic. The generalization is then attributed to everyone who may fit into that group. So for example, if we see one person who identifies as a girl like flowers, to then say all girls like flowers is stereotyping. Transgender. Transgender is when someone's biological sex, so it's the body or body parts that a person is born with, does not align with how a person understands their gender identity. So their sense of being a boy, a girl, neither, both, or something different. For example, when somebody is assigned male at birth, but deeply feels that they are a girl, they know themselves to be a girl, and they're a girl. Sometimes people might identify that as a transgender girl. So we're going to use those fantastic 7 words to help us better understand this story that we're about to read. It is powerful and excellent, and I hope you love it as much. I Am Jazz by Jessica Herthel and Jazz Jennings. Pictures by Sheila McNicholas. I am Jazz. For as long as I can remember, my favorite color has been pink. My second favorite color is silver, and my third favorite color is green. Here are some of my other favorite things: dancing, singing, backflips, drawing, soccer, swimming, makeup, and pretending I'm Most of all, I love mermaids. Sometimes I even wear a mermaid tail in the pool.
It is a feeling. He said this several times. It's a feeling. That's how they're defining it, is a
My
feeling.
best friends are Samantha and Casey. We always have fun together. We like high heels and princess gowns, or cartwheels and trampolines. But I'm not exactly like Samantha and Casey. What do we think of Jazz so far? She seems pretty cool, just like a standard person, just having fun. Trampolines, princess outfits, mermaids. Seems pretty awesome. Let's learn more about her. I have a girl brain, but a boy body. This is called transgender. I was born this way. When I was very little, and my mom would say, "You're such a good boy," I would say, "No, Mama, good girl." At first, my family was confused. They'd always thought of me as a boy. As I got a little older, I hardly ever played with trucks or tools or superheroes, only princesses and mermaid costumes. My brothers told me this was girl stuff. I kept right on playing. My sister says I was always talking to her about my girl thoughts and my girl dreams and how one day I would be such a beautiful lady. She would giggle and say, "You're a funny kid." Sometimes my parents let me wear my sister's dresses around the house. But whenever we went out, I had to put on my boy clothes again. This made me mad. Students, why do you think Jazz's parents might have made her wear boy clothes when she went out? Maybe it's because, as parents, their responsibility is to keep people safe, to keep their children safe. Now, sometimes parents are worried that other people might make fun of them, make fun of their children, or put their children down. So sometimes parents do this initially to try to keep their children safe. But let's think a moment. If you were Jazz in this situation, how would you feel if, even though your parents are trying to keep you safe from being bullied, they asked you to change who you were or put on a different outfit when it didn't make you feel good? Jazz tells us this makes her mad. It didn't feel good. So think about how you'd feel if you were Jazz in this situation. Let's keep reading. Still, I never gave up trying to convince them. Pretending I was a boy felt like telling a lie. Then one amazing day, everything changed. Mom and Dad took me to meet the new doctor, who
Oh
asked me
my
lots and lots of
God.
questions. Afterward, the doctor spoke to my
All the
parents,
problems were
and I heard the
solved when
word
they went to the
transgender for
doctor.
the very first time. That night at bedtime, my parents both hugged me and said, "We understand now. Be who you are. We love you no matter what." This made me smile and smile and smile. So, students, we can compare this experience of being loved and supported by her parents. So, that's acceptance, that's allyship, compared with the previous section where the parents didn't know what was going on and they just wanted to keep her safe. But here we have the parents who are so happy and so supportive of her, figuring out who she is and loving her for that. Again, that's a way to show acceptance and allyship. Anybody can be an ally. Let's continue reading. Mom and Dad told me I could start wearing girl clothes to school and growing my hair long. They even let me change my name to Jazz. Being Jazz felt much more like being me. Mom said that being Jazz would make me different from the other kids at school, but that being different is okay. What's important, she said, is that I'm happy with who I am. We talked earlier, students, about safety. And so here we have a parent who is really invested in her child's internal sense of safety, internal sense of self. So Jazz knows who she is on the inside. And her mom is like, that safety is actually really important too. And that's powerful. Let's keep reading. Being jazz caused some other people to be confused too, like teachers at school. At the beginning of the year, they wanted me to use the boys' bathroom and play on the boys' team in gym class, but that didn't feel normal to me at all. Here we have Jazz, really sad. I was so happy when the teachers changed their minds. I can't imagine not playing on the same team as Casey and Samantha. Even today, there are kids who tease me or call me by a boy name or ignore me altogether. This makes me feel crummy. Then I remember that the kids who get to know me, I'm going to reread that whole page, I apologize.
They couldn't even edit
Even
it
today,
out.
there are kids who tease me or call me by a boy name or ignore me altogether. This makes me feel crummy.
Okay, I've totally done
Then
that before. I can't
that
be
the
one to
kids who
talk.
get to know me usually want to be my friend. They say I'm one of the nicest girls at school. So I love this. This is an example of where Jazz is being brave and showing courage and continuing to be herself when she encounters people who aren't.
That's what you should be teaching kids.
To exemplify that courage, to demonstrate that courage and be herself. And then when people do show their acceptance, they become allies, they become friends. They care about each other. They care about her well-being and appreciate her for being herself. Let's keep reading. I don't mind being different. Different is special. I think what matters most is what a person is like inside. And inside, I am happy. I am having fun. I am proud. I am Jazz. Awesome. Thank you so much, students, for reading that book with me. I hope you loved it. I want us to focus on some of those words and concepts that we learned.
That book wasn't that bad, but
the word that is most important or most essential for us to touch on is the word allyship or ally. I want us to think about why do you think somebody would make fun of Jazz or other people for being different? Have you ever seen this happen? What did you do? What could you have done if you didn't do anything? And I want us to think, what's a way that you can be an ally to somebody who is being bullied? So this may have been an experience that you have seen before. It also can just be theoretical or just something that we're thinking about in our minds, like the possibility. What could we do when we're noticing somebody is being bullied for being different? What's a way that we can show up and be allies? Now, before we close out, I want us to fill in the blank. So take a look at your screen. I'd love for you to turn to a parent, guardian, or older sibling and answer the following, or fill in the following blanks. People make fun of people who are different because blank.
Oh, thank you, Leonard, over on Rockfin.
If I saw blank.
Sorry, I didn't see your tip earlier.
Being an ally means blank. You can be an ally by blank. And finally, a transgender person is someone who blank. So go ahead and share that with your parent, guardian, or older sibling. Then afterward, what I'd love for you to do is write a letter to Jazz, to tell her what you think of her story, to let her know what you would do in a situation if you saw somebody who was being bullied. Feel free to write that letter and share it with a parent, guardian, or older sibling. And that would conclude our lesson today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you loved this book as much as I did. And I hope you all have a great day.
Here's my issue with this. It wasn't that book. That book was fine, okay? Like, it was actually fine. The issue that I have is that Jazz Jennings has a TV show where she talks about being on puberty blockers since she was, well, about that age, where she talks about having surgery before she's old enough to drive. And it's like, again, I have no problem with kids expressing themselves in whatever way they want to, and I think that they should have love and acceptance and all that stuff. And I think that they should be treated with respect and dignity. I think it's a little dangerous for the Seattle public schools to put on a pedestal a child who had bottom surgery before she was eligible to vote. I think that's irresponsible. I'm sorry. I do. Because that's going to give kids ideas. All right, guys, we have one more video. Thank you for hanging in on this record-breaking marathon Seattle Public Schools investigation stream. We had a lot of these stories to watch. We have one more. We're not giving up now. 5th grade. Red. A crayons story. Now we have now ascended, remember, to 10 years old. We started in kindergarten, and we are seeing the progression up to 10 years old in how they're teaching this stuff in the Seattle Public Schools on their website right now under health education. Let's finish up, guys.
Hi there, students. My name is Brennan Ham. I'm the
Oh,
health
same
education
outfit.
specialist and trainer for Seattle Public Schools. I prefer my name to pronouns, but anything said with respect is great. So they, she, and he all work for me. I'm very excited because one of the parts of my job that is so fun is that I get to read amazing stories and books to students like you. So we are going to read a book for 5th graders, and this book is called Red, a Crayon Story.
I don't know why they're reading a book about a crayon in the
Red, a
5th
Crayon
grade, but
Story is
okay.
written and illustrated by
Seems a little
Michael
young
Hall.
for the 5th grade, if I'm honest about it.
So let's take a look at the cover itself and see what we notice. We see a crayon that's labeled red, but we also see this crayon is colored a lot of different things blue. It gives us a window into what we might see.
Crayon's labeled red, but it colors blue.
Okay, so we have 5 key words that we're going to cover
Oh, good.
that are really important to help us better understand this story and think about how we can apply what we learn in this story to our lives. So the first word is acceptance. So take a moment and think, what does acceptance mean? The second word is gender identity. Gender identity. What does that word mean? Where have you seen it before? Next word is gender role. Then we have the word stereotype and the word transgender. Now take a look at the definitions that we provide for each of these words at Seattle Public Schools. Acceptance. Acceptance is the act or state of being supportive, kind, or friendly to others. It is especially important to show acceptance to groups that are different than you. Gender identity. Gender identity is a person's internal, deeply felt sense of being either a man, woman, neither, both, somewhere in between, or something altogether different. Gender role. Gender roles are cultural ways of how men and women are supposed to act. We can think of expectations of men and women. Stereotype. Stereotype is to believe unfairly that all people with a particular characteristic are the same. For example, only girls can like flowers, simply because one girl may like a flower.
Why is
Transgender.
it? Oh,
Transgender is when a person's biological sex or the
Never
body
mind.
and body parts that a person is born with do not align with that person's gender identity. So their internal sense of being a woman, neither, both, somewhere in between, or something altogether different. For example, when someone is assigned male at birth and raised as a boy, but deeply feels and knows themselves to be a girl on the inside. So I want us to think about these words and apply them as we read the story together. Let's go ahead and begin. Michael Hall's Red, a Crayon Story. As told by me.
this is for
A
5th
pencil.
grade.
He was red.
He's not red, he's blue. He has a red wrapper. He's blue.
But he wasn't very good at it. Oh dear, says Olive.
He has on a red
His teacher
outfit.
thought he needed more practice.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I'll draw a red strawberry, then you draw a red strawberry. You can do this, really. The teacher's name is Scarlett. And here's Red.
Red is not red, he's just wearing an outfit.
But he couldn't, really. Like this? Oh my, let's try that again. His mother thought he needed to mix with other colors. Why don't you two go out and draw a nice round orange? Here's yellow and red, because yellow and red, we know, make orange. A really big one, says yellow.
And no one was
A really
able to
orange
identify
one, says
that
red.
He was just wearing an outfit? Oh my
But they made
God.
a big greenish
This is
one.
not for the 5th grade. I'm sorry.
Yuck!
This is not 5th
Says
grade.
yellow. Oops. Says red.
Holy shit. Alexandra says, OMG, I remember my daughter's class reading this book in kindergarten before I removed her from public school. This book is not for 5th grade. I'm sorry. I don't know in what universe I don't know where this book is going that they think it belongs in 5th effing grade, but this is not a 5th grade book. I'm sorry. This is a book that is obviously and clearly written for a much younger audience than 5th grade.
His grandparents thought he wasn't warm enough. Your class is making self-portraits for Parents' Night. Wear this warm red scarf. Here's silver and gray.
Oh, silver and gray are the grandparents.
It's so you.
That's funny. That's clever.
Students,
I like that.
Why do you think the grandparents are portrayed as small and used? Let's think.
Because they're old, and old people shrink.
The more we use a crayon, or the longer we have the crayon, the more likely it is to be used, and the smaller it gets, because the more it's used.
Old people shrink.
So this is to demonstrate their age. Let's keep reading. But it so wasn't. Oh dear me. So here is a self-portrait by Goldie. Here we have a self-portrait by Teal. Here's one by Purple. One by Orange. One by Green. And one by Red. But it's blue. Keep reading. Everyone seemed to have something to say. Amber says, sometimes I wonder if he's really red at all. Hazelnut says, don't be silly. It says red on his label. Cocoa Bean says,
it's a book about labels.
He came that way from the factory.
Oh my God.
Fuchsia says, frankly, I don't think he's very bright. Grape says, well, I think he's lazy. Army Green says, right? He's got to press harder. Steel Gray says, really apply himself. Sunshine says, give him time, he'll catch on. And Sea Green says,
Sea Green was my favorite color, for the record.
Students, how do you think the
Could you tell that Sea Green was at some point my favorite color?
So it looks like they all came to their own conclusions and started working on red without Red's consent, without talking to Red about how Red feels. How do you think that makes Red feel? How would that make you feel? If people
I'm going to try LSD and read this book
about you and how you feel. If you were feeling,
I didn't just say that out of nowhere. There was a chat,
very good.
Just for the record.
Let's keep reading and find out more.
I'm definitely going to try LSD and read this book. I feel like that would make this experience so much better.
And all his hard work. Hearts.
All the colors would pop off the page.
Red cherries, red foxes, red toenails. He just couldn't get the hang of it. There's black, yellow, and green working together, trying to make a stoplight, but we notice it's blue. Here we have Red who's run away.
Poor Red.
One day, he met a new friend. His friend's name is Barry. Will you make a blue ocean for my boat? I can't. I'm red. Will you try? Asks Barry. So he did. Thank you. It's perfect, says Barry. Fred says, you're welcome. It was easy. And he didn't stop there.
Red just needed to accept that he was blue all along.
Blue jeans.
Put on a blue outfit.
Blue bird.
Change his name.
Blueberries.
Holy hell.
I'm blue.
Red knew all along he had a feeling that he was blue.
Here. He was blue.
Oh my God.
And everyone was talking. Olive says, my son is brilliant. Amber says, who could have known he was blue? Hazelnut says,
who indeed?
I always said he was blue.
Who indeed could have known?
Says, it was obvious. Barry says, his blue ocean really lifted me. Green says, all of his work makes me happy. Brown says, his blue strawberries are my favorites. Apple Green says, he's so intense. Yellow says, I'm going to make a green lizard with him, a really big one. Yellow is the character who wanted to make an orange. Gray says, I hear he's working on a huge new project. And Scarlet says, he's really reaching for the sky. And he really was. Blue. And that concludes our
That
book,
is one of the dumbest
Michael Hall's
fucking
book,
books that I've
Red
ever heard
Crayon
in my
Story.
life.
Thank you so much, students, for reading that with me. Now, I want us to reflect on the different experiences that Red had, where Red got to witness and experience acceptance and allyship, and what a monumental change that was compared to before, when people were telling Red that he was wrong. He was. Now, I want us to think about, how might this story apply to gender? Take a moment and think. Some examples could include somebody whose label says boy, but the inside color says girl. They know themselves to be a girl. Another example could include, he looked one way, but felt another. Those are great answers. Now, I also want us to take a moment and do a really fun activity. I would love for you to take a sheet of paper and draw yourself a crayon on it. You're going to draw the top of the crayon like this, the wrapper of the crayon, the label, and the bottom of the crayon.
This is for 5th graders?
Now, I have one right here for you to show you what we have done. So here is
an example. He's a pink crayon in a
like.
Yellow
now, on the
outfit.
Label, you're going to write or draw, whatever you'd like to do, things that people see at first glance, regardless of whether or not those things are true. So, for example, I might write on my label, tall. That'd be a good one. Or earrings. And on the inside label, I might write some things that people don't know about me. So, for example, I might write swimming, because I love to swim. People might not know that about me. But you're welcome to make this a little deeper or more meaningful to you. Once you're finished, I'd love for you to share it with a parent, guardian, or older sibling if you feel so comfortable. This is a great opportunity for us to reflect on.
I would definitely not feel comfortable doing that.
Are unique. All of us have our own experiences around how we express ourselves.
I'm going to go explain this exercise to Victor in a minute.
I'll
be like, Victor, you need to draw yourself as a crayon.
Sometimes those things are aligned. Sometimes
and if there's anything that you want me to know about you, write it on the inside of the crayon.
Always remember that at Seattle Public Schools, we support and love everyone. We all deserve acceptance, and we all deserve that experience of allyship or supporting one another, especially when folks are different from us. So thank you so much for reading this book with me. Thank you for joining me on this activity. I wish you all a wonderful day. Take good care. Bye, students.
Well, everyone, if you were a crayon, what color crayon would you be? And what would your wrapper say? That was the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. That was the R word that I'm not going to say. But it was. It was gay and something ed. What the that was for 5th graders? Are you kidding me? Come on, dude. All right, we have done it. We have successfully made our way through all of the videos that the Seattle Public Schools have on their website as part of their gender curriculum. I don't know how I don't know. Like, I'm processing. I'm having a moment with all of this. This was a little bit much for me. Again, I don't know if you all heard this, but in my headphones, he sounded like he was in a boiler room in a basement, and it made the whole thing really creepy, and I didn't like it. But I liked some of the lessons that they taught in the books. I actually did. I liked some of the lessons. I actually didn't think there was anything too crazy in any of the books. There was no overt sex. Like my bar right now for like children's books is so low because I'm like, as long as there aren't illustrations of people fucking, then I don't care. That is literally my bar, because I have indeed seen children's books for ages 4 through 8 with illustrations of adults having sex. like overt nudity. And I'm like, as long as we're not doing that in elementary school, I mean, I guess everything else is okay. Maybe this is how they get away with this stuff, where they're like, we're going to show you some of the most crazy shit that has ever been taught in elementary school ever. And you're like, no, 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 that's a really bad idea to teach that. But then they're like, okay, you don't want that? Here's some less crazy stuff. And it's going to look less crazy by comparison. And like, now I don't even know if I even have like the presence of mind to know what is age appropriate anymore. I do question this. I'm like, what is even age appropriate? I don't know. But I don't think there was anything overtly wrong in most of those books. I thought some of them were stupid. I didn't like how they presented the material. I don't like the fact that they say gender is but a feeling. Yeah, exactly. They've moved the Overton window. That is exactly right. They have moved the Overton window so that you don't even know what's appropriate anymore. That's probably the scariest thing of all. Got this super chat. Wesley, thank you for the super chat. Dr. Karlyn, they are trying to recreate your Trump rally story with some dude. Don't I know it? If you guys didn't catch this, I actually wrote about this last night. I have a Substack called The Red Pill Diaries. You can find it at redpilldiaries.substack.com. Let me just put it in the chat if anyone wants to read it. I actually wrote about this last night. They found someone to replace me. They found someone sent this to me. It was the first thing I saw yesterday. Liberal man makes friends at Trump rally. I was like, holy shit. They've replaced me. You know what? I'm not even mad about it. I am not even mad about it. More power to him. I think the more people who are waking up, the better. I think that lefties going to Trump rallies and realizing that not everyone there is a Nazi is actually a good thing. I just think it's hilarious. I legitimately think it's hilarious that they went out and found someone to replace me with my exact same story. And honestly, it made me wonder. It was like, how many times have they done this? Have there been other people like me that I just don't know about because they came before my time and I wasn't paying attention? Is he going to get a PragerU video? Is he going to get canceled by PragerU when he decides that the right is just as full of shit as the left is? I don't know, man. But I for real though, I wish this guy the very best of luck. I hope that he has a much better experience with the right than I ended up having. Like, I had a great experience for a little bit, and then they all went insane after Joe Biden got inaugurated, and then I stopped having a good experience because I left the left for a reason, and I didn't do it to join the other tribe on the right. And no regrets on leaving the left. I don't regret going to that Trump rally. I wish the right was better. And I genuinely hope that this guy has a better time than me. I really, really do. But if you want to hear my thoughts or read my, actually, if you go into, so on the Red Pill Diaries Substack, I do something a little different, which is that I actually do a voiceover. I read the article, so you can actually listen to me read it. It only takes 5 minutes. This is a relatively short one. These are just stream of conscious essays about my red pill experience that I've been just like playing around with. So if you want to read my thoughts on my replacement, that is available at redpilldiaries.substack.com. But again, like, I'm not even mad about it. I wish him the very best. I think it's a good thing. I think it's a little weird that they consider this news. Looking back on it, I think it's weird that I was considered news. And I am deeply gratified to have moved beyond that portion of my life and to be focusing on what I want to do, which is expose the craziness in the public schools. Guys, if you enjoyed the stream today, we did a deep dive into the Seattle public schools. We could probably keep doing this deep dive, but it's been about 4.5 hours and I want to go. I'm tired, man. It's almost 10 o'clock. I'm old. But the reason that I do this stuff is that I am working on raising money to build an online training program called Schools Exposed that I want to train 10,000 parents how to find out what the public schools are doing just by looking at their websites, looking at publicly available information, very similar to what we did today. Look what we did today in a couple of hours. We uncovered the strategic plan for the Seattle public schools. We know that their entire strategic plan is built around equity. We know they're teaching oral sex in the 4th grade because we found their sex ed curriculum. Thank you, bot. We watched all of their gender book kit that they're teaching from kindergarten through the 5th grade. We found a socialist teacher that teaches at one of the high schools in Seattle. We found a lot of stuff today just on this one stream. And again, this is the type of stuff I want to teach parents how to do. Some might say it's just searching a website, and those people are not actually wrong. But the fact of the matter is that most parents are overwhelmed by this stuff when they first start approaching it. And I want to break it all down. I want to teach them the language that schools are using. I want to show them exactly what it looks so they can find out where this stuff is happening. I want to do it on a private training platform where we have on-demand videos and monthly live lessons. I want to create a community of parents that are all doing this, all keeping an eye on what's going on in their school district. I want to create state-by-state groups. If I'm putting 10,000 parents through this program, that's about 200 people per state. We can create state affinity groups, so we're all working together, all helping each other, things like that. So that's what I'm working on. That is what I'm raising money for. If you want to help me out, head over to unwokearmy.com/parents, or the URL is in the description or pinned to the top of the chat. That's going to redirect you to the Indiegogo campaign. And I did meet the fundraising goal. I met it in like 4 days, which I'm really, 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 really grateful for. But I am still raising money. And the more money that I get, the more I'm going to be able to put into this. So I really like one of the things that, and guys, like I've been asked, like some people have asked me, Karlyn, are you going to take a vacation with this money? No, I'm not. No, 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 no. I'm going to be a good steward. I know some of the people like that have donated this money, and I'm so appreciative of it, and I want to be a good steward of this money. So I'm not taking this money and going on vacation. I'm using it to pay for technology to to be able to deliver the training program. I'm using it to be able to focus my time on developing the program, because if I'm not if like basically like if I'm not doing this, I have to do consulting work, because guys, YouTube don't pay the bills. It just doesn't. So I have to do consulting work. And if I'm doing consulting work, that means I'm not focusing on developing the program, because I do actually have a mortgage to pay and all that stuff. So I'm using it to focus my time. I'm using it to develop the technology. I'm using part of the proceeds of the program to fund FOIA requests or public records requests, because I think that that's important, and that's stuff that the Unwoke Army is going to be doing. What I would really like is a marketing budget, though, because if I'm going to get 10,000 parents through this program, I don't believe that any conservative influencers or media are going to help with this at all. I would be thrilled to be wrong, but I don't believe they are, because I don't believe they want to solve this problem. So I'm going to have to go old school and do some marketing, create like a grassroots campaign, deliver it, like do word of mouth, but I also want to do like old school marketing tactics. That's going to cost money. And so the more funds that I can raise in this program, the more parents that we're going to be able to push into the program, or at least get the attention of. Because really what I want to do with this is get the attention of people who aren't in this space like we are, to help them understand what's going on, and to teach them how to keep an eye on their school, their kids' school, so that we can all rest a little bit easier that the schools have people watching them and they know what to look out for. So there are all sorts of levels you can donate on the Indiegogo. The program is going to launch in January. And if you want to be part of the first group who gets access to the program, you can do that with $50 donation right now. The $50 donations have a limited amount of slots, okay? So there are only 50 slots available at the $50 donation, because when I launch the program, it's going to be $99 fee, like one-time lifetime fee for access. So right now you can get that at $50. You can get that until those slots run out. Once the $50 slots run out, then that's going up to $75. That's the level it's going to stay at until the program launches. And if you would like to get not only access for you, but also a scholarship for someone else who can't afford it, I am going to be making that available to people who need the financial help. I think that that is really important. And I'm really so happy that members of my community stepped up and said, Karlyn, we want to pay a little bit more to give a scholarship to someone else. This was actually included as a perk because people asked me to include it. So that's going to be at the $90 level. At $100, you'll get first access to the program, and I'll send you an autographed copy of my book customized just to you. $250, you get private training. $500, I'll do the research on your school myself, and I'll tell you what you need to know. And at the $1,000 level, I will knit you a customized, completely original, hand knit shawl. If you don't like these crazy colors, that's okay. We'll pick out colors that you love. We will pick out colors that you and I select together. I will make sure that you're taken care of. We'll do a great pattern. You'll have a nice like hand knit thing that no one else has. And people who've been watching me a while know I don't sell my knitting ever, because I don't want knitting to be a job. I'm asked about my knitting all the time. I do not sell it. This is like pretty much the only time I have ever given people the opportunity to get a customized shawl from me. Mostly because this is something I do in my free time. I want to enjoy it, but I'm willing to do it for this at the $1,000 level. We'll create a great custom made creation that's just for you. Wesley, thank you so much for becoming a member of the channel. I really, really appreciate it. And I want to acknowledge TA here too. He says, I always feel a little more enlightened after watching your stuff. Also, my apologies for anyone from my side who hasn't made you feel welcome. They don't represent the majority of us. I appreciate that, TA. I know there are good people on the right. I know I shit on the right an awful lot because, to be quite frank, they have made my life a living, breathing hell for the last year and a half. And but not everyone's responsible for that. You're not responsible for that. Most people are not responsible for that. But that's the reality, and it kind of is what it is. And I'm really sorry that other people who haven't been responsible for that get caught up in this. So I do appreciate the support. I appreciate the compliment. I'm trying to do my best, and I appreciate you hanging out. All right, guys, I've been streaming for almost 5 hours now. I'm tired, but congratulations on making it through the end of the stream. I will be back tomorrow at 5 o'clock. I don't know what I'm talking about yet. Maybe we'll keep looking into Seattle. Maybe we'll do something else. We'll have to see. But guys, take care. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you soon.